All right, welcome to another edition of the Fifth Down Show, your extra down of sports, entertainment, and media coverage right here on the KJC Radio Network, broadcasting live via Blog Talk Radio, simulcast on the Snowman Digital Media Network, and available on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify, all the radio streaming apps. Of course, we have our YouTube channel going, which we are broadcasting live in as well. We are coming to you live from the Gino Naz studio in West Haven, Connecticut. And, of course, if you want to be part of the program, by all means, call the show 646-668-8415. To join. If you are watching on YouTube, you want to be part of the show, StreamYard tab is at the top. All you got to do is click it, get in, get your thoughts out there, because as always, this show is not about my thoughts. This show is about your thoughts. It's about what you think is going on in this crazy, crazy world as we head down. We've got NBA playoffs. The play-in games are set. We got tomorrow the final play-in games, and then the playoffs will kick off on Saturday. So we've got all of that to discuss. We've got the latest in the Zion Williamson saga, which is playing out exactly as we said in a post earlier today on Facebook. My friend and always welcome contributor to this program. We are forever in debt to Ben and Victor for everything that they did to for this program, for everything they added. And as we always say, everyone is always welcome. If you've been on the show, if you plan to be on the show, it doesn't matter. You can always come back to the show. We're not getting rid of anybody here. Everybody is always welcome, always allowed to be on the show. That's why we're trying to find new ways to connect with as many people as we can, do as many things as we can, and allow as many voices to be heard on this show. But as was said, January prior to the NBA draft, Ja Morant was should have been the overall number one pick. Ja Morant was always the better prospect. But what happened during that draft? Everyone got caught up in Zion, in Zion, as I call it, Zion mania. Everyone got caught up. Zion's the best thing we've ever seen. Zion's the best thing for basketball right now. I told you in January of that year, and there are many people that can attest to this. It's live on the Blog Talk site. Just go find that episode. Go find the episode where I introduced Ja Morant to the world when he was just some kid at Murray State. And I introduced Ja Morant to the world and said, this is the best kid in college basketball right now. Needless to say, look where the Memphis Grizzlies are. Look where the Pelicans are. That's all you need to look at. But it needs to be pointed out that it was said on this program months prior to all of this and years ago, and look where we are now. Look where we are now. We'll get into all of that as we break down the show here. We also have the Marvels trailer out there, and the Marvels finally dropped the trailer, and everyone is losing their minds. Okay, so we'll get into the Marvels trailer and break it all down. And it's causing people to really show their true colors. And sometimes those true colors are not in the best light. And people are using and abusing this trailer for reasons that I mean, I get it. I get it. People are pretty much sick and tired of everything that's going on in Hollywood. They're sick and tired of Marvel. They're sick and tired of the garbage that Marvel provides. However, we're not going to do that here. We're not going to shill for Marvel. We're not going to come out and tell you the Marvels is going to be the greatest movie of all time. But we are going to praise we are going to praise it where it is, and we'll get into all of that. Speaking of cringeworthy entertainment, Star Wars Celebration, or as I call it, Star Wars Cringe Fest, finished up over the weekend, and oh my God, you cannot even imagine the amount of garbage that was spewed by these people. These people at Lucasfilm have no idea about what they have inherited, what came before it, where they're leading this. I've said it. I said it 2 weeks ago. I stand firm by this, and I haven't seen anybody that can breathe life back into this. Star Wars is a dead entity. It's not dying, it's dead. It's absolutely dead. And there is no other proof than Star Wars Celebration, and all the crap that they plan on spewing out is not only going to drive the stake further into the heart of George Lucas and what George Lucas created, but if they haven't killed it already, they're just driving it even further. I mean, you're talking about digging the gravesite. They're 6 feet under, and they're continuing to just dig a deeper and deeper hole. So we will get into all of that stuff. Of course, it's April, which means we are on the road to the NFL draft, which kicks off in the last week of April. I don't quote me on the date. I believe it's April 28th when the draft kicks off. I'm not sure if that's the case. It's the last Thursday of April. That's all I can tell you. It is 2 weeks from today. The NFL draft will be going. And of course, we have done this for 6 years. We have covered the NFL draft extensively. We will do it again this year, where we cover the draft, and with our new YouTube channel, with our new ventures that we have going, we will be live streaming during the draft, and we will be doing what we normally do, which is cover the draft from start to finish. Every pick in the first round, we wait for the pick. We talk about the pick. We talk about what we would do in that situation. Guys who we think should go. Guys who, there's always tricks and trades in the draft. There's always things that come up, and it allows us to address accordingly. We have a set program. We come in with our thoughts. We come in with our plans, and we see how it plays out. Sometimes the teams don't do what we think they're going to do, and it allows other teams to gain from that. The New York Giants are the New York Giants from last year are a perfect example of that. I told you Thibodeau was the best player in the draft, and I would have taken him number one overall. The Jaguars went a different way. The Lions went a different way. and Thibodeau falls to the Giants later in the draft, and they end up getting the best player in the draft. So we let the draft play out, and rather than being one of these, I'm predicting this, and because they didn't do I address what happens, address the pick that is made, and deal with it accordingly, whether I like the pick or not. Whether I like the pick or not is only one aspect of it. How the guy that they actually drafted, how he fits into their program, that's the kinds of things that we discuss during, while we're waiting for the next pick. That's what we do. That's what we do on this. That's what we do here on this program. And just for everybody, here you go. Let's show the stuff. As you can see, the StreamYard link is right there if you want to join us, and the phone number is right there if you want to join the program. Do you want to join this program at any process? At any point, jump in, talk about things we're talking about things we've already talked about, talk about anything, talk about a brand new topic, bring something else that maybe we've missed or maybe it's not in our rundown. You want to bring that up? By all means, go right ahead. But as said, we will jump in. We'll get on here. We'll do what we need to do, and we'll go through all of that. So that's the plan. That's the plan for tonight's show. And with that, let's talk about. And so there's the StreamYard. And there's the phone number. If you wish to join the show, if you're listening on Blog Talk, the phone number is 646-668-8415 to jump in. Now, let's begin. Let's begin with this show. As I said, January, I want to say 2019. It's that far. It's that far removed that I all I can say is while Zion Williamson was at Duke and John Morant was at Murray State, you can go back and look at our post Super Bowl episode. It was the only thing I remember, and the way I remember the year of this and remember the date is it was in the episode where we discussed the Patriots-Rams Super Bowl. And I remember coming on, and Ben was on with me at the time, and I told Ben, who was co-hosting the show with me at the time, I told him, go look at this kid from Murray State. He is by far the best player in college basketball. And Ben looked at the clips live on the air, research, did his, when I told him to go look at it, his reaction is live on Blog Talk, will be live on the internet forever and ever. And we discussed this kid, and I said it at that time, this kid is better than Zion Williamson and is a better prospect for the NBA. That was John Morant. And there's a reason why the Grizzlies are the second place team and the Pelicans were just eliminated from the play-in tournament. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why Zion Williamson feels I can't play till I feel like Zion. This is people have said he's in the realm of being Sam Bowie. He's not in that category because as good as John Morant is not the greatest player of all time. So he won't be Sam Bowie where it was passed over. And we will talk. Well, I also did see Air over the weekend. So we'll talk a little bit about Air and how great that movie is towards the end of the program. But for now, and in this discussion, Zion Williamson is dangerously close to becoming Greg Oden. He's becoming Greg Oden, who we remember Greg Oden was drafted number 1 overall when everybody said to take Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant fell to 2. And, you could talk about all the woes of Kevin Durant's career and the current situation of Kevin Durant. But there was a stretch where Kevin Durant was ascending to becoming one of the greatest of all time and on the list of one of basketball's greats. Meanwhile, Greg Oden is he was drafted number 1 and never impacted the game of basketball at all. So that's where Zion Williamson is falling, where John Morant is leading his team to a second place finish and has a big series coming up against the Los Angeles Lakers. A big series for a big series in terms of it's the Lakers. All eyes will be on that series in the first round. It is one of the more intriguing series in the first round of the playoffs. A, because the Lakers. B, because LeBron James is involved, so eyes will always be on it. But the other thing is the Grizzlies are a fun team to watch. John Morant is a fun player to watch. And so this is a chance for John Morant to really show himself to the world with all the chaos that surrounded John Morant this season as off the court. This is a chance to put the narrative back to John Morant on the court. And on the court, he is the most exciting player to watch in NBA. In the NBA right now, John Morant is the funnest player to watch. He does everything that I want to see from an NBA player. He attacks the rim. He goes hard. When he drives the lane, he drives hard. He breaks people down one-on-one. He finds open shooters when he needs to. The guy plays the game exactly the way you want to see a star player attack the game. Now, off the court, John Morant's a different story. All the chaos, the going to clubs, taking out firearms in the middle of clubs, like you can't be doing that. I mean, unless you're John Wick, you can't get away with that. Unless you're John Wick, you can't be taking out firearms in the middle of a club, in the middle of a crowded club. Not in this day and age, and not in any day and age. But as long as Zion keeps, as long as John Morant keeps that stuff to a minimum, his play on the court will tell you a lot more about it. And I guarantee you watch one game of John Morant, you watch one highlight reel of John Morant, you will be intrigued by what you see. What you see will tell you how you feel. And I can guarantee everybody that I've introduced John Morant to during that run up, when everybody said, who is this kid? What? Murray State? What is that? What is this? Everybody that I introduced John Morant to came away with shock and awe after watching the videos, after researching the guy. And that's what it's about. That's what sports is about. Sports is not about all this superficial stuff. I don't like him as a person. I don't like that. Whatever. Whether you like someone as a person or not, you can still manage their game. You can still get through their game on the court. You can still get through their game on the field. You can still analyze their game on the film, whether you like them or not as a person. You can still watch them. the way I go about covering this stuff really stems from my love of growing up watching WWE and WCW. Watching wrestling has really shown how to approach all these new things. I don't have to like someone personally. I can sit here and I can let someone come out and I can let someone be a heel, listen to them and say that person is absolute garbage of a person. But what they do in their arena, I can respect what they do in their arena. Because I like someone doesn't mean I'm going to praise them unconditionally. Because I like this person has great moral values. All right, that's fine. That's all fine and dandy. But at the end of the day, it comes down to what they are presenting, what they are giving us. And that's where things go awry. That's where a lot of these commentators, that's where a lot of things go awry, is people get caught up in, I like this person, so nothing they do can be bad. Nothing they do is ever bad. Because I have to be the one that stands up for them. No, you have to assess what they give us. If they give us good content, we will praise it. If you give us crappy content, we will condemn it. That's how it is. That's how it is. I don't care how much I like you personally. If you whip a gun out in the middle of a club, I'm going to tell you you're an idiot. But that doesn't affect how I'm going to rate you on the court. I'm not going to sit there and say John Morant is somehow diminished because of this, because what John Morant has done this year has been fantastic. There was a time 2 years ago where John Morant could have and probably should have been the MVP of the league. But he was passed over. He was passed over for reasons that can't be explained. And everything that John Morant does off the court, it does take away from that. It takes away from perception. We talk about it all the time. Sometimes perception becomes reality. And that's just not something you want to do. Speaking of our John Morant coverage, we have a man on the line. Let's bring Snowman on the show and add him to the stream here. Snowman, what's happening, my man?
Good evening, Deets. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. I'm doing great. You know, this is great publicity for the Fifth Down Sports Show.
Mm-hmm.
Zion Williamson crumbling before our eyes while John Morant is leading his team to the playoffs.
And something you and I both said in 2019 before the draft even took place. I mean, you said it on my program. I backed you up, and I continue to back you up. And speaking of Zion Williamson, and first of all, I need to apologize to you. This morning went haywire. I completely overslept. I didn't know Cole had to run an errand, but I'm glad he did. But we'll make up for it, A, on Friday, and B, next week, because I'll have some things situated here at home. But as far as Zion Williamson goes, let me put this in a short email. Dear Zion Williamson, you screwed yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you could talk about the classic example of Zion. He's blowing up just like his Nikes did it on the court in Chapel Hill, North Carolina,
at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Absolutely, 36 seconds rewrote Zion Williamson's career, if you want to call it a career.
I
Just may be calling it a career very soon because I don't think there's anything he can do to save his career. Cameron Indoor Stadium wrecked him physically, emotionally, mentally. That game at Cameron Indoor Stadium, where it was supposed to be a show-off game for him, and he blew out his foot. He hasn't been the same since.
and he's going to be known. That's what he's going to be known for. What else do you have? What else do you have to point to in Zion Williamson's basketball career? You have him blowing his shoe out, and then them failing in the NCAA, failing to reach the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament
with him in tow,
with him at Duke and with Coach K.
Didn't they lost to, I want to say, UCF in the second round? I want to say it was Taco Fall and UCF.
They lost.
Hold up.
I don't remember who they lost to. That's how unremarkable it was that they lost to somebody. It's not like they went on to lose to the eventual national championship, or they lost in some, ridiculous fashion that we remember. I don't even remember the NCAA tournament. I don't even remember their experience in the NCAA tournament. That's how much of a mark Zion left on college basketball. That that was 2019. So we're 3-4 years removed and can't even remember a single thing that happened.
Nope. Sure can't.
And, I do want to get your thoughts. I do want to get your thoughts because we know you're going to be keeping a close, watchful eye on this opening series. But I really think this is the most intriguing opening round series, with the fact that you have Ja Morant on Memphis going against the Lakers, which anytime you mention Lakers and playoffs, our generation and our ilk are going to go back to the 1980s, where the Boston Celtics and the Lakers played in every single NBA championship from 1981 to 1991.
I will take, you know what, Dietz? I'm going to make you happy, and I'm going to make myself happy and smile. I'll take any Celtics-Lakers series from 1981 to 1990 over the evisceration that's going to happen in 2023 to the Fakers. Period. I didn't have a stake in the fight in probably the greatest final series ever in 1984. I just loved watching the games, and that's one of the few times my parents let me stay up late to watch the games, because, as you know, that's one of the first years it went live. The first year it went live was 82, and it was Lakers Philadelphia. But I'll take one of those series over what's going to happen to the Lakers in 5 games this year. I mean, I have not much to say about that series.
I mean, you already know what's going to happen. You already know what's going to happen in this series. I'm going to say it right now on this program.
Please say it.
We haven't even gotten to the series yet. It doesn't start till Saturday. I believe it starts on
Saturday.
So I'll say this right now. I think Memphis will win the series. I think it will be. I think you'll see a lot of close games in this series. A lot of stuff going on. But I'm going to say this right now, Snowman. Your show, we know what you do. We know what your show does on Wednesdays. I guarantee you, when the Lakers look, Memphis isn't going to sweep the Lakers.
No,
as much as we hope that they do.
As much as we're praying that they do.
But I'm guaranteeing you. You say that. I want them. I want the Lakers to win for your show, because I guarantee you the Lakers, It could be 3-0. Lakers win game 4.
And everybody goes nuts.
And I guarantee you there are going to be people. See, LeBron James, they're gonna hype LeBron James up. See, he won a game and he won a game in the first round of the playoffs.
Yep.
And everybody, God forbid the Lakers take a 1-0 lead, everybody's gonna lose their minds.
God forbid.
They could take a 1-0 lead, lose the next 4.
And everybody will be talking about the Lakers taking a 1-0 lead in the series.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm predicting it right now.
You already
know. It doesn't matter when they win. It could be, it could be
they
lose the first 2 games. They take the first one back at the
forum,
the forum or whatever the hell they call it, the Staples Center, whatever the hell they call the Lakers arena right now.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you, the Lakers aren't going to get swept. They're going to win one game, and I guarantee you, after that one game,
everybody's
all the Lakers fans, I don't even want to say Lakers fans because my buddy Eric is a Lakers fan, and we talk about the Lakers all the time at the bar.
These are Laker fans. These are bronsexuals.
Yeah,
let's just be all the way real with it. You've ridden on my show now for 6 years. You already know how I feel about this group. These ain't Laker fans. These are bronsexuals. Because if they were real Laker fans, they'd be iffy. They'd be on the edge about this series against the Memphis Grizzlies. These are you know what? I didn't get a chance to play it this morning, but I got the perfect sound for you. That's all we're gonna hear from.
Absolutely. The seal claps are real. And it's true when you talk. Like I said, I talk to my buddy Eric all the time. He is LA true and through. Lives out here in Connecticut, but he is an LA Lakers fan. He is a Dodgers fan.
Yep.
He's LA true and through.
He's a real fan.
And I've talked to him many a times about he's the one that told me. I said, "Hey, you guys won the championship," and he was the first person to tell me it was a COVID championship. It doesn't count. And this is a Laker fan. This is a Laker fan saying, "Yeah, we won a championship, but I don't care. It doesn't count."
Wait a minute.
And that's why I adopted it because of my conversations with Eric. I adopted it to look. If a Lakers fan doesn't even care about this, why should I?
I mean, I watched not one game that series, not one. But my alerts were going berserk after Game 6 happened in the COVID championship. I didn't even bother to read all my alerts. I didn't even bother to read them because I knew what was happening, and. My partner, Cole Johnson, and I were afraid. We were flat out afraid that if LeBron wins Game 6, fuck the Lakers I'm sorry. Fuck the Lakers at this point. If LeBron wins Game 6, he was going to get the unanimous MVP, which he didn't deserve, and everybody's going to prop him up on a pedestal again. What happened? They won Game 6, and who got the supposed Finals MVP in a unanimous fashion?
It wasn't the guy who should have gotten it, Anthony Davis.
Thank you.
Who took the shot that won them the championship, and the play was drawn up for him because even the Lakers knew. And as we coined the phrase well before, we called it when they started the damn thing, the COVID classic.
COVID classic.
Which put it out of sight, out of mind. But like I said, even true Lakers fan does not care about the first round of the playoffs.
No,
they don't even care if they win the first round of the playoffs. It'll be. A true Lakers fan will be like, all right, well, They didn't make
Who's
the
that?
Western Conference. It's about the Western Conference Finals and the
World Championship and the World Championship Series. Absolutely.
When you have as many championships as the Lakers do, first rounds in the playoffs don't matter.
No.
Play-in tournaments don't matter. Well, winning tournaments where you don't have to travel don't matter. It's about winning championships and championship seasons. That's Lakers, Celtics, anybody.
Yep,
they don't care.
That's Lakers, Celtics, Bulls, Spurs, Warriors. When you win a true championship, that's what you celebrate. Instead, what we got in 2020 was a lot of we got a lot of that.
Yeah.
We got a lot of that, and I wanted to just give him a tiger uppercut to all of them.
And that's going to be the case. That's going to be the case. That's going to be the case in this series, and that's why this series is intriguing to me because we're going to see, and I'm going to be keeping an eye on this series just to see how it goes. But you know how it's going to go. If the Lakers are going to win, the ball's going to go through Anthony Davis.
It has to go through AD.
But where the credit's going to go through.
Of course.
And it's not going to go through Anthony Davis. The credit is going to go on that other guy. Oh, look, he did so well. He deferred to Anthony Davis. So he deferred to Anthony Davis. So
wait a minute. You mean this guy?
The thing is, it's going to happen.
It is.
It's going to happen. And that's why I say, we know what Snowman in the morning does on Wednesdays. We know it's Bronze Sexual Wednesdays. And that's why I say I hope that they win a game. I hope they win a game because that will give you content for the next 3 months. They get one win. I guarantee you that section of the fan base is going to explode.
Forget the next 3 months. It'll give us content for the next 3 years. Because if you think about it, they're still living on a COVID championship. 3 years later, they're still living on the COVID championship. Even though they got blasted by the Phoenix Suns, they got obliterated out of the play. They got obliterated before they made the playoffs in 2022. They barely got in this year, snuck by Minnesota when Minnesota choked away a lead, and yet
they were losing to a Minnesota team that punched their way out of the playoffs.
Exactly.
Literally.
And
their best player punched a fire hydrant or punched a brick wall,
and their next worst,
just like Amari Stoudemire.
And their next worst player swung at
punched somebody else.
Yeah,
punched their own teammates. They literally had their best two players not there, and the Timberwolves were winning that game in the third quarter,
up 15.
So someone needs to explain that. Like, everybody was, did you see the comeback? They came back against a team that had their top two players out. Their other top player was coming back off an injury that he still wasn't right. You could tell he was playing at 75%, but because the other two weren't there, he had to suit up.
He had to play. He absolutely had to play. Now, you know what I get accused of, not bringing the facts on my show, and yet you've been with me 6 years, and you know that's all I do. Okay? When I bring the fact that everything should go through Anthony Davis, and that is a fact, folks. That is a fact. Everything should go through Anthony Davis. It's like you explained. Everything can go through Anthony Davis on the surface, but who's going to get the credit for deferring to Anthony Davis? Who's going to get the credit?
We know where the credit's going to go.
Yep.
But we can say it on this program, and you could say it on your program, and anytime I go on any of these other programs, whether it's In or Out Sports Debate with Drew Willingham, which I was on Saturday, and it was a lot of fun. Thanks, Drew.
Awesome. It was awesome. Thank you, Drew.
Whether I go on that program, whether I go on your program, whether I go on Rod's program, I do the lunch crew on Mondays, whether I go on any of these programs, you're not going to hear the credit from me. No. I'm going to give the credit where the credit's due. Now, if LeBron drops 45 and does his thing, I will give the credit to LeBron James. Same. But I guarantee you, if LeBron drops 45, is cooking to 45 points, I guarantee you Memphis is going to win that game.
Mm-hmm. And because they have nowhere else. Because they have nowhere else to go. Somehow Anthony Davis got neutralized, or Anthony Davis neutralized himself. Oops, did I say that aloud?
I mean, the game that stands out in my mind of watching the Lakers play basketball was earlier this season, Lakers Celtics at the Boston Garden, where
is that the Saturday night game?
It was the Saturday night game where Anthony Davis was guarded by a 6'1" point guard.
And he didn't see the ball.
A 6'1" point guard. And he did not get the ball on the block once.
He didn't see the ball.
It didn't make any sense. Watching that game, I was in a chat group at the time screaming. And I'm a Celtics fan sitting there going, why isn't he getting the ball? Melvin Brogdon is guarding him. Just throw the ball up high. Mm-hmm. I don't understand this.
There's a term in basketball, and you know it well, called mouse in the house. Anthony Davis had a mouse on him the entire fourth quarter, and he didn't see the ball once. He did not see the ball once. We don't have to ask why is that. That's too obvious. That's way too obvious as to why he didn't see the ball once. It's too easy.
Exactly. So while I got you here, and because I didn't get to come on this morning, I want to move to one of my later topics. Actually, the hidden topic. I didn't even put it in the rundown because I just was writing and I completely forgot that. I do want to tell you this. You know, I come on your program, Totally Deets Thursdays. I come on and I've given you so much entertainment not to watch. Mm-hmm. I finally found a program worth watching. And I have to tell you, Air, the Michael Jordan story, is by far.
Tell me it's as great as it looks.
It's by far the movie. It's the movie of the year. I feel so bad for this movie because it came out. The Oscars was like 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel so bad for this movie that we're gonna have to wait an entire year
for it to be awarded
to get to the next Oscars. But I guarantee you, this movie sweeps the Oscars. I can say that right now.
I'll say
it's going to win Movie of the Year. It's going to win Best Actor, Matt Damon. It's going to win Best Support. It's going to win Best Supporting Actor, and I bet Jason Bateman is going to win that, but he shouldn't. Right. It should go to Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker stole the show, stole the movie. Every scene. This is a guy who, Chris Tucker.
And I love Chris Tucker.
For me, growing up, when I think of Chris Tucker, I think of Rush Hour. I think of Money Talks. I think of, you think of his, you think of Friday. Who doesn't think of Friday when they think of Chris Tucker?
Who doesn't think of Friday? Who does it?
You think of his comedic performance. He's not comedic in this movie. He's not comedic in a sense where his lines are supposed. He delivers them with Chris Tucker's charm, which makes them fun, which makes them comedic, and it does bring a couple of chuckles with the things that he says, but it's not meant. It's a serious role, and I akin it to Will Ferrell's character in Stranger Than Fiction, where it's not a comedic role. But because it's played by somebody who is so comedic in their aura. It just comes across that way.
Mm-hmm.
But Chris Tucker plays his role perfectly. He is fantastic in it. Marlon Wayans is in the movie for about 5 seconds, and he's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how good every character is. And I do have to say this because I did get a shout out on Geeks and Gamers Live today, because I did send them a super chat, because Ryan, I hope you go see Air. I can't wait to see what you have to say about this. Of course, Ryan Kinnell does Sports Wars on the Geeks and Gamers, so I do want to hear what he says when he watches the movie.
Right.
But I know the guys there. I know they don't like Viola Davis for reasons. Reasons that they don't have. But I do. I understand that going in. But when you watch her play Michael Jordan's mother, I couldn't put anybody else in that role. Mm-hmm. She played it perfectly. And there are people that will say, oh, you know, Michael Jordan's mom, she wasn't like. No, Michael Jordan's mom ran the show.
Yeah.
She ran it. You have it. You know, this movie is not about Michael Jordan's maybe in the movie for about 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Even the guy playing Michael Jordan, I don't think he even has a line. I don't even think he speaks a word. He's kind of just, they show him from the back.
Yeah.
Most of the time. I don't even think he gets FaceTime in the movie.
Nice.
But I do know that when they approached Michael about making this movie and about turning this story into a movie, I know when they approached Michael about it, he said, if you're going to make this movie, Viola Davis has to play my mom. That was a direct order from Michael Jordan, and she nailed it. She absolutely nailed it. She should win. She'll probably win Actress of the Year for this movie. Now, whether all of that happens,
we don't know.
I do have to say, I do know. I said it when I walked out of the movie. Critics are going to nail this movie for the final shot of the movie, and I'm telling you, Snowman, you will love that. You will love this movie because everything about this movie is 1984. It from start to finish, you get shots of all the stuff, you know, all the nostalgic stuff that was going on. You know,
yes,
Wonder Bread in a bag. You know, like all of, when
love it.
When Matt Damon is walking through a convenience store and you just see all the brands, they somehow they got all the boxes, they got everything right. That's what I was looking at in the first scene. I was looking at all the behind that back and forth. I was looking at all the behind, and I was like, how did they get all the 1980? Like, how did they get all the 1980s? Like Wonder Bread that just says Wonder Bread on it.
Yes.
Like nothing else. That's it. I was like, they don't even make that anymore.
You said Wonder Bread in a bag. I remember that.
It was fantastic.
I remember that. Wonder Bread in a bag, y'all. I remember that.
But here's why I say critics will slam this movie.
Oh no.
So at the end of the movie, you know, they're talking about Phil Knight. They're talking about Phil Knight. And they're talking about Phil Knight, Sonny Vaccaro, and they're talking about all the things that they went on to do. Like Phil Knight makes $4 billion for Nike, and he donates to charity and all that. Sonny Vaccaro was instrumental in the Ed O'Bannon case. They tell all that. They tell the guy who invented the Air Jordan, as far as invented the name, made the shoe, made it look the way that it did. The designer, he was awesome in the movie, by the way. But they talk about his career and the fact that he died like I think a month before this movie came out. So they talk about his story. But the last shot of the movie, Snowman, is a picture of Michael Jordan and underneath it says Michael Jordan became the greatest basketball player of all time. That's the end. That's the end picture in the movie is Michael Jordan, greatest player of all time. And again, they're not wrong. They're not wrong.
No,
but you know that trigger. You know that triggers some people, and especially people in the Reddit community. And I guarantee you, that's going to be a reason for them to slam this movie.
You know who it triggers. Wait. I turned the volume down. You know who it triggers. Do we need to say anything else?
Speak as if the cosmos aligned. Let's now everybody keep calm. Everybody separate to we're gonna go to our corners. Everybody separate. We're gonna have fun here, and let's bring this. Rod, welcome to the Fit Down Sports Show.
Thank you, Christy, for having me on, man. I just want to get the breaking news, man.
Yeah, what's the what's the breaking news
about the partnership? Our partnership.
Oh yeah, we'll talk. Yeah, we'll talk about that. We will definitely talk about that going on.
But yeah, I seen a little clip of the TV show of that movie, man. It was pretty good. I watched it, man. I watched it bootleg. It was really solid. I give credit to Ben Affleck. I've been watching Ben Affleck since Good Will Hunting.
Affleck, like I said, and like Jeremy said this morning on Geeks and Gamers, Affleck is probably the best director. He's probably the best director in Hollywood right now. I mean, you go back to Good Will Hunting, you go to The Town, you go to any Ben Affleck directed movie, it's been fantastic. This one included, and Snowman, I do have to tell you, there is one my favorite line in the movie, which for everybody out there that's thinking about going to see this movie, and there's a lot of people I know that are like, I don't care about basketball, I don't care about this. This movie's not about basketball. It's not about the game on the court. It's about all the behind the scenes views. Absolutely. It's about everything that happens behind the scenes. But what I want to point out is this movie is about, Snowman says it on his show all the time. He ends his show with it. It's a great ending to his show. If your dreams don't scare you,
then they're not big enough.
They're not big enough. That's exactly that could be on the poster for this movie, because that's what this movie is about. It's about, if you have a dream, chase it. And do everything in your power to do that. Because there are lines in this movie where, they're talking Nikes. That we have to understand, when this in 1984, Nike was an afterthought. Nike was not Nike as it is now. Nike couldn't sign a basketball player. They were actually in meetings, in production meetings of who are we going to get for our next shoe. And they were sitting there going, the funniest line in the movie is when he goes, they got this kid, John Stockton. We could go after him. And they're like, and the guy's like, yeah, I like him, from Gonzaga. And Matt Damon's character is like, do you even know where Gonzaga is?
I love it. See, that line right there could echo a line that opens my show every morning.
Mister, will you please wake up?
That line right there could echo my wife opening the show every morning.
But what happened? So Matt Damon is the one who sits there and Sonny Vaccaro, and he says, "Why are we going after these three? Why are we going after three crappy prospects? Take all our money and pull it into this one guy." And everybody was like, "You're crazy. You're going to commit career suicide." But Matt Damon and Sonny Vaccaro believed enough in Michael Jordan to make it happen. And at the end of the movie, when they decide we're going to do this, when Michael's mom makes the unprecedented, "Hey, we'll sign with you, but we want a piece of the sales," which was never done before the history.
Never done.
That was Michael Jordan's creation, and it came from his mom being a great business person. Of when they asked her, "Why would you do this? Most people take the money up front," and she said, "Because most people aren't my son." And
there you go.
It believing in somebody, believing that somebody can be great, but it leads to the very next scene where Matt Damon and Ben Affleck as Phil Knight is sitting there, and Matt Damon asks him, "Why did you make this unprecedented deal? Why did you do this? Why did you do this?" And Ben Affleck as Phil Knight looks at him and says, "Because I believe in you, and you believe in him." Something to those effect. It might be the other way around. I think it's the other way around, where he says, "Because because you believe in him, and I believe in you." And that's what it's about, believing in people. It's about having faith to say, "Hey, go, this is this crazy dream that you want to chase, go for it."
You know who says that to me on a daily basis? Take a guess as to who reminds me of that on a daily basis.
I'm gonna guess Jody.
Yep, every day. Something she says to me every day. And the first time we got together, she said, "I've chased all my dreams and caught them. Now I want you to chase yours." And she's been helping me for the past 5 years. Stay on the path for it.
And we've had movies and television shows and television movies that have said, "Oh, chase your dreams, chase your dreams." What this movie does differently is it says, chase your dream, but put everything into it. It's not enough. It's not enough to say, this is my dream, I'm going to go after it. And you say, all right, I'm going to do it. It's a totally different thing to say, this is my dream, and I'm going to work at it every single day, every single minute, and I'm going to do every single thing. When everybody tells me, "Oh, you won't do that, you can't do it, you can't do this," when everybody tells you that to your face, and you say, "Well, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it, and consequences be damned." And that's what this movie is about. It's not about basketball. It's not about shoes. It's not about it's about having dreams, having convictions, and going after them,
and having the nuts to give it your all. And I can honestly tell you, the last couple of years since I have been physically ill, I haven't given it my all. I am now. I'm back in the chair, and I'm rolling right along. And even today, with some of the things that happened today, taking the negative and turning it into a positive, because before I go to bed, I'm going to reconstruct my studio here, because I think I found a solution to a couple of things. With that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and step away. And Deets, fun with you as always, my friend.
As always, man. And Snowman, no worries. You're talking to somebody who slept through more shows than I can count. Then I can count. I have no problems, but I do want to say this while you're live on the air here.
Yes.
And put you on the spot. And I say this with complete sincerity. Anytime, if Cole's got to be out, if something's going on, you need anything, you know who to call. You know who will come out of the bullpen.
I have you.
You know who will come out of the bullpen, so that you guys can do a Snowman in the morning and at least have something presentable. Even if it's just hold the fort down for 20 minutes. Hold the fort down for 20 minutes till we get there.
Right.
You need anything. You can always send me a message. You can always just let me know, because, like I said,
I know I can count
the new schedule I have now. I'm basically free every morning, so it's not a problem for me jump. It's not like I'm waking up and I got to wake up and do this. Like I'm like when I do your show, like I'm just getting home from work, putting all my stuff down, and then going right into the studio and getting ready. So it's not like it's not like it's stopping my day. So like if you realize something's happening and your studio blows up, hey, I need to fix something. I need to fix something. I can't go on camera. Just shoot me a text.
Got it.
I'll be there. I'll be there. And I'm always that's why I'm always the first one in the chat, because
I appreciate it.
Right when I get home, I'm like, all right, let me put Snowman on. Let me put Snowman on while I'm making breakfast. Well,
and the audience is starting
dinner, but for most people, breakfast.
And the audience is starting to grow also. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much for spreading the word about the show and getting folks in the chat and getting folks to tune in. I'm gonna finish this project and then I'm gonna crash because I got an award winner to produce tomorrow, and we got a lot to talk about tomorrow. Thank you, Pete.
I hope so. Absolutely. Thank you for coming on, Snowman.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. All right, so you just heard me and Snowman talking about, well, we talked about everything from Zion Williamson to John Morant to the Lakers Memphis playoff series. You heard me talk about Air. Look, I'm telling you right now, this is the movie of the year. I don't see another movie. The problem is this movie came out at the same time as Mario. And I went to the theater on Saturday, and I went specifically just to see Air. I thought about doing a double shot of I'll go see Air, and then I'll jump into Mario and go watch Mario. Literally, Air is playing in one theater. Mario is playing in 3 different theaters at the same cinema. Every single Mario theater was packed. Mario is killing it right now. And by the way, my buddy Marshall can attest to this, because I said it a month ago. And Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers stole my idea, and everybody's been stealing my idea. I said it a month ago. This Mario movie will start the Nintendo Cinematic Universe. And it should, from what I've seen of the clips, because I did not see Mario, because I spent my money on Air. That was what I wanted to see. So I probably will not see Mario in the theater. I'll probably wait till it comes out and stream it that way till I see it. But from everything I've seen of Mario, they kind of used up the cinematic universe already. They used up Mario. You got Mario, Donkey Kong, Bowser. You threw all of those into one. You had Mario Kart in there. You had all of this. Where I was watching, one of the guys I watched, Little Platoon, little shout out to him. He did a review of Mario, and I think he said it the best. Of you had a chance of, all right, Mario set your universe. Then you have another Mario movie where he goes with Donkey Kong. Then you have another movie where it follows the Mario 3 aspect. Then you add in Super Mario World to it, where you get Yoshi and all of that. And you could have done all of these in succession, but instead they decided to blow them all out in this movie. So again, without seeing it, from everything I've heard about it, it works. Gamers love it. Everybody says it follows the games. That's fine. What I'm saying, if you wanted to make this a universe, you kind of need to hold some of that stuff back, because when you show it in the next movie, people are going to go, we already saw Donkey Kong. We already saw Cranky Kong. We already saw all these characters. You need to give us something new. And they kind of just blew through all of that. But that being said, Rod, before we talk about the new venture that we have going on, let's clean up, because I want to get your thoughts on Lakers Grizzlies first round.
Hold up. Before we start this, I told you my man LeBron knows something about a hard time. People thought I was crazy, Deets, when I told y'all the Lakers were going to make the playoffs. A lot of people threw eggs in my face. Threw pies in my face. The famous song by Teddy Pendergrass, the whole town was laughing at me. And look what happened.
The Lakers made the playoffs, but it's like I was saying with Snowman, and just because Snowman came on, and now that Rod's on, I'm not going to change my view again. When I think of Lakers, I go to my buddy Eric at the bar, biggest Laker fan I know, and he told me this, and this is what I believe all Laker fans. I think all true Laker fans believe this. They don't care about the first round. They don't care. They don't care about the playoffs. They don't care about the playoffs until the Western Conference Finals. If you don't make the Western Conference Finals, when you're the Lakers and you've been to 26 championships and you've been to, like I said, you had a run in the 80s where it was from 1981 to 1992, the Lakers or Celtics played in the NBA Finals in each and every year. One of them, one or the other, was in every single. So me as a Celtics fan, if the Celtics get bounced in the first round, yeah, if somebody's like, hey, the Celtics made the playoffs, they had a good season. Nah, not for the Celtics. That's not a Celtics season. If they don't make the Eastern Conference Finals, no Celtics fan, no respecting Celtics fan will care if they don't make the Eastern Conference Finals. That's what Eric told me. Eric told me, I don't care what happens until the finals. I really don't care, because I've seen too many championships to care about this. Now that doesn't diminish what the Lakers got to the playoffs. When like you said, Rod's been saying it all year, but most people were saying when the Lakers were at 10, the 10 seed, when they were 10 seed or below, or everybody said there's no way this team makes the playoffs. Well, they found a way to make the playoffs, and we've seen it time and time again. Just ask I'm trying to think of the year here. I want to say 1997, might be 1997. Ask the 1997 Denver Nuggets if the first round of the playoffs matters. When they beat the number one Seattle Supersonics and Dikembe Mutombo grabbed the ball. Dikembe Mutombo has played in NBA Finals, and people still play that as his defining moment. So we've seen teams make it in the first round. Ask the 2001 Golden State Warriors if the first round of the playoffs matters when they upset the Dallas Mavericks. Ask Steven Jackson if the first round of the playoffs matter. It matters. It matters, and you can do some things. But all I'm saying is people who are going to get excited about the Lakers in the first round of the playoffs, I'm telling you right now, true Laker fans don't care. They don't care. They not to say they don't want they want their team to win, but if they lose, they're not going to look back and say, "Man, 2023 was a great year. We made the playoffs." Laker fans are going to go, 2023, we got bounced in the first round, and we're going to put this season aside. That's how people that have watched Kobe dominate the playoffs. They've watched Shaq dominate the playoffs. They've watched Magic dominate the playoffs. They've watched Worthy, Jabbar, all of that. That's the culture. That's the culture that the Lakers have cultivated, is championship or bust. I mean, it's like being a Yankee fan. Yankees get bounced in a wild card round, nobody cares. Now, Mets make the Mets win 100 games, get bounced in the wild card, and everybody goes, oh, the Mets, they lost. As a Mets fan, I go, the Mets made the playoffs. I can't say that many times in my life. So to make the playoffs as a Mets fan, I'm excited. I'm like, all right, we got a playoff game. This is awesome. But as a Celtics fan, my Celtics get bounced in the first round. I'm pissed as hell. I'm pissed as hell, and this season was a throwaway. That's the difference between being a winning franchise and being the New York Mets. So that being said, but Rod, I do want to get your thoughts. What your thoughts on this first round, on this Memphis LA? Because I'm all in. I'm all in on it.
I think a lot of people. I hear a lot of people telling me Memphis is going to sweep us. I'm hearing on social media wise. I don't think that's the case. You're losing a couple key pieces. You're losing Brandon Clark, which is a great rebounder, great defender in the paint. You also don't have no Steven Adams, which was a hell of a rebounder and a shot rim protector. So, and we all know Jaren Jackson had a problem with foul trouble. So if you get him in some foul trouble, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, man, that's a reach. You're reaching with them 2 points. But I think we got a good shot getting out this. I'm going to say at least 6 or 7. I don't think they're going to sweep us.
I don't think 6 or 7 is out of the question. As far I don't think that's out of the range. I think this is going to be to put my stamp on it, and I'll say it right now. I'm thinking initial thoughts are Memphis in 5. That's really how I think it's going to be. Look, the Lakers. Anybody who's saying the Lakers are going to get swept is just somebody who's hoping that the Lakers get swept.
So, how do you see
the Lakers are too good to get swept? I think they take one game at Staples, and I think I think Memphis is too. I think Memphis is too strong. They shoot too well. The one thing the Lakers do not do well is shoot.
Okay, so all right, let me ask you this question then. Right, we already seen this movie before where they lack that playoff intensity. They lack that leadership, veteran leadership on that bench to really get them. You see, we seen what happened in Golden State, right, last year. What was they missing?
They were missing that playoff mentality, and that.
You think they got it now?
That comes with experience. I think that helps Memphis this year, where now, especially they got the number 2 seed, they got home court, and I think this year you're going to see a more experienced team. You're going to see, you're going to see John Morant look. We've talked about this all the time. I love watching John Morant, and I talked about it earlier in my open. Nobody attacks the rim better than John Morant. You can't do that in a 7-game. You can't do that in a playoff series because he's going to get beat. You're going to beat yourself up, and you're not going to be able to go full on. In game. By the time you get to game 5, game 6. Your body is just going to be like, I can't take this anymore. So he's got to manage that. He's got to manage that better. He's got to go when he needs to go, but when he doesn't, he needs to. All right, pulling up for a jump shot is a lot better than driving to the rim and getting knocked around by the bodies underneath.
You don't got that yet, though. You don't got that yet.
Yeah, he'll. Like I said, he's good. He's just got to manage it because, and I think that experience last year. Hopefully he's learned. Hopefully he's learned. I can't press to I can't go 100% every single time and get knocked around by tree trunks for 8 games. I can't do it because we have it's not about this first 4. It's about 16. It's about getting 16 wins. That's what the NBA playoffs is about. It's about getting to 16 wins. And if you can only play in a few of those games, you're not going to get there. And Ja Morant's got to know he's more important to this team than anybody else.
And that's a lot of uncertainty. You know,
Well, like I said, I think there's enough pieces in Memphis to where the Lakers are too good to get swept. If the Lakers do get swept, all hell's gonna break.
So who do you have if you're the coach? If it's Deep's team, who are you guarding? Who are you double teaming? Are you playing the zone or are you playing man to man?
I'm playing a box and one with pretty much everybody's got an eye on Ja Morant.
I'm saying on the Lakers. I'm saying on the Lakers.
Lakers? You mean it? So if I'm going against the Lakers,
yeah.
If I'm going against the Lakers, I'm keeping it. I'm going Doc Rivers. Where keep Anthony Davis out of the lane. Don't let him get the ball on the block. If he chooses to hang out by the 3-point line, let him. And going Doc Rivers with if LeBron shoots a jump shot, we win. If LeBron shoots a jump shot, that's a win for my defense. And I've said
you mean shooting threes? You mean shooting threes because he get inside that circle.
Any kind of jump shot. If LeBron is not steamrolling down the lane to an easy layup, which LeBron has the skill and the size to do that anytime he wants.
I just don't understand like people like y'all that don't believe he can shoot a 15-footer inside the paint. His stats show that he is much more ineffective at taking a jump shot than he is at any point. But if you're telling me the percentages of him missing a jump shot, whether it's a 3, whether it's an elbow jump shot, the percentage of him missing that shot than missing a dunk are a lot higher. All right. The percentages of him missing a jump shot are much more in my favor than him driving down the lane to the basket. I just hate that people put him in the same class of Ben Simmons. Like he can't shoot at all.
No, he's not. No. He's not Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is definitely afraid of shooting. LeBron's not afraid to shoot, and that's one thing that is I want to say I don't want to say it's not a positive of LeBron. But it's one of the negatives of LeBron James is that he is willing to shoot because it's again, Doc Rivers said this when he was coach of the Celtics. He said, let LeBron come down the floor and if LeBron shoots a jump shot and is not steamrolling and making a layup, that's a win for our defense.
All right.
If he makes the shot, oh, good on him. You know, good offense will beat good defense every time. And if he makes the shot, he makes the shot. But if he shoots it, we have a better percent chance that ball doesn't go in than if he's making a finger roll layup at the rim. A finger roll layup at the rim, probably 99% of the time it's going in. Now, unless Jason Tatum fouls him and they don't call it, but that's a different story. But like I said, if LeBron's doing that, LeBron's going to dominate the game if he can get into the lane. But what we've always seen from LeBron, and it's one of my criticisms, it's been my criticism for LeBron for 20 years, anytime there's resistance to going to the hoop, LeBron will settle for a long-range jump shot, which he does make. He does make his fair share of them, but he does miss his fair share of them. And if you're playing defense against LeBron James and he pulls up for a jump shot, that's a win. That's a win. That's a win for the defense. Whether he makes it or misses it, if he makes it, awesome. If he misses it, get the rebound. Let's go down and score. But you mentioned what the Lakers if Steven Adams can't play, then if Anthony Davis doesn't get the ball in the paint every single attempt down the floor, I gotta ask Darwin Ham, what are you doing? Why are you there? Why are you a basketball coach? If Steven Adams isn't there to shut down the middle, why isn't Anthony Davis getting the ball? Even if it's just to give him the ball, let the defense react to it, and then he kicks it back out. Even if it's just that, it needs to happen. Because if Steven Adams isn't there, Memphis doesn't have anybody else that can lock down the middle of the floor.
Maybe he doesn't want the ball. Why we never thought about that? Maybe he does not want the ball.
If he doesn't want the ball, that's an Anthony Davis problem, and that's a problem that you need. That's when guys like Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra would say, "No, you're our biggest guy. They have nobody." But you were there. You were there with me when we were watching that Celtics game where Melvin Brogdon was guarding Anthony Davis, and he did not get the ball on the block once.
But I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take a 1915 Anthony Davis. Give me 4 blocks. I'm gonna take that. Give me that defense. Give me them rebounds.
Like I said, he doesn't have to score. He doesn't have to shoot. But he has to get the ball, because the defense, when somebody that big and that talented gets the ball on the block or in the key, the defense has to react to it. They have to, because if they don't, if they just allow Anthony Davis to catch the ball, go one-on-one with somebody that close to the rim, Anthony Davis should win that matchup every single time. So they have to bring another defender. That opens somebody up. And we've seen it from the Lakers this year. They can't make those shots. But you have to do it. If you're wide open, you have to take those shots. And that's what you're going to force the defense. All right, we're not going to allow him to get the ball. Well, that opens the court up for LeBron to do his thing. So that's what I would be looking at.
A lot of people not seeing the fact we got Minnesota in a lot of foul trouble going in inside.
Yeah, well, like I said with Minnesota punched their way out of the tournament. They punched their way out of the NBA season, whether it's by punching brick walls or punching teammates.
So are you taking prime Rudy Gobert versus Dwight Howard? Who are you taking?
Dwight Howard in his prime?
In his prime.
Dwight Howard.
Okay, I'm seeing a lot of people saying Rudy Gobert. Dwight Howard had a small hook shot, and he was posting people up and jamming in their mouth.
Dwight Howard led. He led a Magic team that had no business being in the finals. Dwight Howard somehow got them to an NBA Finals.
And Dwight Howard probably only 6'8".
I mean, at that time when he was playing with the Magic, at that time, Dwight Howard was unstoppable, and he could do anything. He could get anything he wanted, and he dominated rebounds. He dominated defensively, and then Stan Van Gundy screwed up Dwight Howard, and it screwed up Dwight Howard for the rest of his career. And then of course, going to the Lakers and playing with Kobe Bryant, that was just that was a bad fit. It was never going to work. And and Kobe is Kobe. Kobe is Kobe. And Kobe went full Kobe on Dwight Howard, and you saw what Dwight Howard crumbled. And that's what ruined Dwight. But people are going to get lost. That's the thing about what we talk about on the internet. It is the perfect segue to the project that we have going on, and it's going to be a lot of fun. This is why I want to do, as Rod said, Fifth Down, Rod Uncensored Podcast. We have a brand new venture, and I'm calling it Set the Scene, as in SEEN, because I'm going to talk about these things that we've seen, the things that we've seen, things that people are forgetting about. When people talk about Dwight Howard and they say, "Oh, Dwight Howard," they remember his Rockets tenure or they remember his Lakers tenure. They're not going to look back and remember his magic, how good he was for those years. And so when they say, "Oh, I'll take Rudy Gobert," really? You're going to take Rudy Gobert? How many finals has Rudy Gobert played in? I don't think he's played in one. Dwight Howard led a team that had no business being there. I mean, Hito Turkoglu, really?
Jameer Nelson, Petrus.
That's who you're. That's who you had on that Magic team. Come on, they had no business being in the finals, and they made it there. But that's going to be a venture. It's going to be Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Tuesdays and Wednesdays in the morning. It's not going to be this show. It's not going to be a full on like breaking stuff. What we're going to do is take one topic each morning and just roll with it and roll and talk and get our morning, start your morning off with whatever we've seen. Like I said, setting the scene. I'll tell you something that I saw, whether it's from sports, whether it's from media, whether it's from entertainment, whether it's a movie I saw over the weekend, whether it's a movie I rewatched for the 9 millionth time, but I still want to talk about. That's what we're going to do on the show. We're going to talk about stuff we've seen and react to it. And that's going to go ahead.
And the biggest thing is, it's going to be Deets doing the show by himself, and he's going to break down what he wanted to break down. It's not going to be scripted. The biggest thing about this venture, I got a couple other people joining the network. I want them to be true to themselves and do a show how they want to do it, if that makes sense. I don't want nobody to try to be Rod Uncensored. I want Deets to be Deets. At the end of the day, I'm not going to tell them, Deets, I think you should do these ideas for views. That is going to be Deets' baby, and he's going to do how he want to do it. You know what I mean? And that's the major thing, I feel like, for a successful partnership.
Absolutely. And as anybody who ever enters our chat, Pizzle, thanks for watching the show. Thanks for checking us out. And I'm not doing, and I'm telling you, Rod, I'm not doing this show to get views. I'm not doing this show to get. I'm gonna say bombastic things just to get people to roll in. Like, that's not gonna happen. You're gonna see me talking about things I want to talk about, and I'm gonna lay them out there. This is how I feel. If you agree with it, like, share, comment, and we can roll with it. If you don't like what I say, share, comment, and we'll address issues as I always do on this show, on any show that I go on. Anybody, you don't like what I say? Go in the comment section and say you're crazy. I'll address my issues, but I'll also tell you why I feel the way I feel, and that will never change. But I'm excited to start this venture. I'm excited to have the opportunity and I have to say this off the bat. Thanks, Rod, for bringing this up and bringing this into an idea. I mean, this is something that I've wanted to do for a long time, of just doing something. And I'm going to try a lot. I'm going to tell you right now, Rod, it's going to be a bumpy ride out of the gate, because I'm going to try a lot of different things with this show, whether it's trying to do videos, trying to find other things to play during the broadcast, so that I can play something and react to it in live time. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to use this opportunity to really try and test my waters. And as I've said, I said it on Drew's program on Saturday. I say it on this program all the time. I don't care if I have I don't care if I have 2 people watching. I don't care if I have 200 people. I don't care if I have 2 million people watching. As long as those people that are watching the program like what they see. If they, as long as they appreciate and like the process that we're doing, that means more to me. It means more to me that 2 people like the show than, 17 million people view Velma and 16 million people hate it.
That's what.
That's not a win for me, where most people go, oh my God, it was the most viewed. Yeah, it was most viewed and most hated.
Mm-hmm.
If people view my show and they hate it, I'm going to be like, all right, we need to retool this. But if 5 people watch the show and 5 people love the show, hey, I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep rolling. But like I said, it's gonna be a venture that it's gonna be an adventure, because we are going to test topics. We are going to not really test. We're going to put our stuff out there, and as I've always said, the more content out there, the better everybody is.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody out there, speaking of content, look at the segues, they just roll right into each other. I have to get into Marvel, and I have to get into the Marvel's trailer dropping, which, if everybody saw, look, I'm going to address people right now, and I'm going to talk to people that I love. Gary from Nerdrotic, Jane Theory, who does an awesome podcast, awesome videos, awesome live show every Saturday. I'm in the chat every Saturday, 9:00 Eastern, 8:00 Central. I'm in there. I'm in there every Saturday morning. I'm right there with Jane. The Critical Drinker, I watch him all the time. Love it. Friday Night Tights Group, Geeks and Gamers. I sent them a chat earlier today. They read it out. Thank you for you guys. The Marvel's trailer dropped, and I'm tired of hearing all of these people, oh, the CGI looks terrible. I don't care what the CGI looks like. I don't care. Okay? I don't care what it looks like. It could be pixel frame for all I care. Well, all I care about is it a good story? Is it going to, a lot of these content creators have already drawn their line in the sand. This movie's going to be terrible because we don't like Marvel, and we don't like the MCU. We don't like the direction Marvel is heading. So we're going to take this movie and we're going to run it through the mill, and we're going to bang on it for oh, look at how bad the CGI is. I don't care about the CGI. I don't care about that. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you the Marvels is great. Go watch it. Go watch the Marvel. I'm going to tell you right now, this movie's a train wreck. It's going to be a train wreck because the plot is absolutely insane. However, I have seen people banging this movie and banging this trailer, from the minute Kamala Khan came on, and everybody banging. Oh, why is Miss Marvel in this movie? Why should I have to watch Miss Marvel to understand this movie? All right, if you didn't watch Miss Marvel, which most people didn't, I did. I watched every set, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was great by any means necessary. Miss Marvel was a train wreck. It was boring as hell. It was basically Disney Channel put to Disney Plus and tried to market to 35-year-old, 40-year-old Marvel fans like myself. Yeah, you're going to watch it and go, there's no action. Nothing's going on. This is teen drama. Like, clearly it's not made for me. Okay? But the character of Kamala Khan, she's awesome. Hey, the actress who plays her is awesome. She does the most with a shitty character that I've ever, she gets the most out of that character. And I will tell you this from the trailer. And, I've seen so many people saying, oh, here comes annoying girl. Here comes this. That's how she was in the show. That's on brand. That's on brand. So when I saw her in the trailer and I saw her, she's going through space and she's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I'm like, yep, that's exactly how a teenage high school girl would act if they all of a sudden got teleported into space. They wouldn't be just stoic of, all right, I'm in space. They would be like, oh my God, where the hell am I? What is going on? How is this? And so to all these people that are rating this, and I props to Gary in his review of letting everybody know, oh, this is a character from Miss Marvel, which I didn't watch. All right, if you didn't watch Miss Marvel, then what? Then why are you commenting on how the character acts? You have no idea how the character acts. You have no idea what she's supposed to be like. Now, adding Miss Marvel to this movie was a great idea because, first off, Monica Rambeau, worst character in Marvel, worst character in the comics, worst character in WandaVision, worst character. It's going to be a toss up between her and Brie Larson of who's worse. Who's the worst? They're both, as Drinker and Mahler would say, they're both planks of wood. They have no chemistry at all. They have no camera presence. Their characters are just god awful.
That's why I need you on the network to break down the comic book inaccuracies, and people need to hear from somebody's not a robot.
But Kamala Khan is bubbly. She's personable. There's something about her that when she's on screen, you're interested in what's happening to her. Mm-hmm. That's what got me from this trailer. Now, if you came into this trailer looking for action and looking for something to drive you to go to this movie, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that from this movie because this movie is absolute garbage. I mean, it is. The Marvels is going to be a train wreck, and it's not. But it's not going to be a train wreck because of the reasons that people are saying. Oh, yeah, and Miss Marvel was not a train wreck because of the performances in the show. It was a train wreck because there was no villain. There was no action. It was boring as hell. That's what's going on. They're hiring writers who are afraid to take chances, who are afraid to put action, first. Let's get that going. And why the MCU is dying, why the MCU is a dying entity, is not because they've gone to they've swapped over to female characters. That all these content creators that are focused on that, you're focusing on the wrong thing. Why the MCU is dying is there's no villains. There's not a single villain that I can go, all right, this villain is cool, and I want to see what they do. I mean, we got a shot of the Marvel's villain. It's basically, it's basically Ronan the Accuser in a female body. Well, I've already seen Ronan in 3 different movies. I don't need more Ronan the Accuser. Okay, I don't need more. I need a villain I can get behind. And the reason why I hate Captain Marvel, I hated Captain Marvel the movie. Okay, you're talking to somebody who 20 minutes out of the movie, I was on the phone with my co-host at the time, Victor, saying we're going live tonight because this movie absolutely infuriated me. Why? Because they took one of their greatest villains, the Skrulls, and made them into refugees. You had a chance to make the villain, you had a chance to make an iconic villain. And from all I've heard, Secret Invasion is going to introduce us to Super Skrull. If we get there, maybe it can turn around. But until we get to until they make the Skrulls the villains that they're supposed to be, I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel bad for Skrulls because I've read the comics. I've read Secret Invasion. I've read Secret Wars. I've read everything I've read the Fantastic Four run, Hickman's run with the Fantastic Four versus Super Skrull. It's some of the best comic book writing. Marvel, it's not about the heroes you have. Heroes make good stories. Villains make great stories. That's how you get people involved. People weren't involved in Infinity War and Endgame and phase 2 and phase 3. They weren't involved in all of that because, Captain America. We saw Captain America in phase 1. And people said, all right, it's a good character. Cool. But at the end of Avengers, when Thanos was in the end credit scene, everybody said, oh, Thanos is coming. How do we get to Thanos? And that's what drove the rest of it. That's what drove the rest of phase 2, phase 3, phase 4 was the build up to Thanos. And then when we got Thanos, Thanos was a formidable opponent. He was menacing. He was exactly what we thought he was. That's what made Marvel great. That's what made the MCU into the MCU. You think Kang the Conqueror Kang the Conqueror has been defeated by female Loki, got defeated by the Kangs and sent to the quantum world, got defeated by ants in the quantum world, and got defeated by Ant-Man. I'm not buying Kang the Conqueror as the overall villain of this. You need to bring in a villain that we can get behind. A villain that says, ooh, this is worth seeing this is worth seeing the build-up for. You don't have that right now. You don't have writers who care about that. You have writers who care about pushing other crap that we don't care about, that the comic book fan doesn't care about. No one cares. And Drew in the chat, thank you, Drew. And I will say I'll have a message to Drew in a minute, but let me finish this Marvel point. You get a villain that we can get behind, I guarantee you. People want to talk about superhero fatigue. There's no superhero fatigue. Superhero fatigue doesn't exist. Because if you think it does, go look at the box office. John Wick is a superhero. If you really watch the movie, I mean, the guy takes freaking bullets, guy gets shot point blank range and just walks away from it. He's a superhero. Super Mario Brothers dominating the box office. Why? Because they gave us a movie that we get behind. They gave us the movie we wanted. Top Gun Maverick dominated. They gave us the movie we wanted. Avatar 2. You're not going to get any love from Avatar from me. I've never seen Avatar. I'm on record.
Come on, Deeks.
I've never watched the full movie.
Deeks, that's the biggest movie of the early 2000s, man.
It is, and I when it came out, I was like, again, I'm not somebody who's like, ooh, CGI, like,
I love some good CGI, man.
You know, CGI. Oh, it's awesome. Like, I'm not somebody. I'm somebody who said, I opened my Captain Marvel rant with, I don't care how bad the CGI is. I don't care how good the CGI is.
Are we going to get the Black Knight movie or not?
Look, I'm gonna quote Mahler here and say, everyone in Hollywood right now, don't give us anything, because everybody that's writing and doing anything in Hollywood is garbage. When Mahler was talking about, they said, oh, you should make they should make this Star Wars. They should make this Star Wars show. They should make this show. Mahler literally on Open Bar said, no, because these writers will ruin it. The writers right now they have no vision. They have no view of what we want. And anything that they give us right now is just going to be woke garbage that they're saying, all right, ooh, I guarantee you, they give us the Black Knight, it will be all about colonialism. There will be colonization involved. It will be an absolute horrible rendition. And it will get, they're gonna until we get writers in there that can say, I want to do the character the way the character is supposed to be. I want to give the audience the character that they love, and I want everybody to be able to enjoy this. Right now, the way they write characters is, let's write off 50% of our fan base right off the gate. And then when the movie flops, they go, well, why didn't anybody support this? Because you didn't care. Because you showed us that you didn't care. You don't have benefit of the doubt anymore. Benefit of the doubt is gone. And that doesn't mean, I'm not going to go, I'm going to go see the Marvels. I'm invested. I'm going to go see the Marvels when it comes out, if it ever comes out, because they keep pushing it back. It was pushed back to September. Now it's pushed back to November. They just keep pushing it back and back. I'm going to see these movies when they come out. I'm going to watch them. And you're going to get an honest reaction from me. If it's good, I'll tell you it's good. If the plot is terrible, I will tell you the plot's terrible. But that's where it starts. That's where it starts and ends. You have to give us characters we care about. You have to give us characters we care about in situations we care about. If you don't give us that, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to go to these movies. But for reviewers out there, stop with the bullshit. I don't care how bad the CGI looks. I don't care that Marvel can spend as much money as they want. Hey, if they got crappy CGI, that's on them. That's on them. But the one thing you can control is the plot. Does it make sense? Do your characters act like real people? Do they act? Do they show emotion? Do they draw any emotion out of me? That's what I get. Tony Stark is he's stoic, but he drives emotion. He shows emotion. He does the things that we need him to do. Edward Norton did that in the Hulk. Chris Hemsworth has run the gamut with Thor. He's been, the prideful guy knocked down from Asgard to Earth. He's been beaten. He's been the most heroic guy ever. Best scene in all of Marvel, challenge me on it, is when Thor arrives in Infinity War and comes down with Stormbreaker and just absolutely, the Avengers are getting mauled and Thor shows up and just wrecks the place. it was classic Thor. And then they went back to, and then they took that character and made him into Fat Thor for no reason. And then they had Thor Ragnarok. And then you had Thor Love and Thunder. These characters, we care about them. And for people that are out there that say, oh, you shouldn't listen to people, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. No. We talk about these things because we care. It's because we care about the IP. It's because we care about these things. It's because we care. That's why we talk about them. We don't talk about, if we didn't care, we wouldn't talk about them. That's what this is all about. It's all about whether we care or not.
And that's important, Deets. And I did my homework the other day. I watched what you told me to watch. I don't know, should I tell them what you gave me homework?
You watched Masters of the Universe?
Oh man, that shit was terrible, man.
I told you. You asked me why Kevin Smith doesn't write anything. That's why.
And remember, I asked you about why did it never made a Johnny Quest movie or a TV series? Don't touch it, please. Don't touch it.
Yeah,
don't touch it. Don't touch it.
You know, because you know what would happen in that. You know what would happen if they made Johnny Quest right now. You know how they would write it. Johnny Quest would be put to the back, and the side character would lead the way. They
might make Haji a woman. You never know.
They would definitely gender swap Haji and she would be a girl boss and basically drive it'd be the Haji show.
Haji be driving the submarine, all kind of shit, man. But you know what I mean, I'm glad they didn't touch that or watch that. You know what I mean? I had to say, man, let me check this out. I'm scared to see what they're gonna do with One Piece. I don't know if you were into anime. I'm scared to see what Netflix is gonna do with that.
I mean, Netflix. How many times do we have to do this? Cowboy. You destroyed. You had man. Cowboy Bebop, a live action. You did a live action of the largest selling anime, the largest selling manga of all time, and you couldn't even get through the first. You couldn't even get through one season of it. I think they got 6 episodes and canceled it.
Only thing was really good about Netflix was the Daredevil. The Luke Cage one was pretty good. What's another one that had Netflix? The Punisher was good.
They had Jessica Jones. They had
Punisher was good.
The only one that they really.
What about the Iron Fist? You like the Iron Fist?
I do. I liked Iron Fist. I understand why everybody hated. Everybody hated it. I understand the actor who played Iron Fist was pretty much going through the motions. He wasn't really he didn't really bring anything out of you. But I didn't get into them at the time because now they're all on Disney Plus. So that's how I got into it. I was like, oh, these are now on Disney Plus. I can watch them. And I watched them all in a week. I watched them all in a weekend. I watched Daredevil, Punisher, Jessica Jones. I watched the Defenders series that they did. They were all done awesome. Luke Cage was great. I loved all of those series.
What about DC wise? I liked it. I liked the Smallville when that shit was out.
DC. I actually had a conversation now Easter this weekend. So I was hanging out as we call him Hallmark Hogan. I was hanging out with Brother Tom, and we were talking about this. I have no idea what DC is doing. DC, what the hell are you doing? WB, what the hell are you doing? WB had the Flash, they had Green Arrow, they had what was called the Arrowverse. They had everything.
That Arrow TV show was hard, man.
Arrow was awesome, and I get it. They sacrificed Stephen Amell's character so that they could do the crossover event.
That was terrible.
They did the crossover event, which it's a classic DC run. They've done it before. It's not the first time. It won't be the last time. but they sacrificed him. But they said, we're getting out of these teen drama things, and they canceled things like Stargirl, which was a great show. Stargirl was awesome. Whatever the other one was, the one with Nightwing and Titans. Titans was running strong. Yes, Batwoman was terrible. Yes, Supergirl was terrible. Yes, The Flash has been up and down. And I understand that. But they make this statement, we want to get out of this. And then they go out and put out something like Gotham Knights. And I'm like, why couldn't you just make Stargirl season 4? Just go Stargirl season 4 and you would have been fine. But no, you have to put out Gotham Knights, which is absolute trash. If you're like me and you love watching train wrecks, it's great. It's if you can watch something and laugh at it like I do, I watch Gotham Knights and I just laugh. But DC, you have the best characters. You have the best characters and the best storylines. Just go with them. Just go with the comic. Just read the comic. Yeah. Just read the comics. That's all you have to do. Read the comics and put the comics on TV. Put the comics on the big screen. If you got, I have said this. I've been saying this ever since we got in Crisis on Infinite Earths is the one I was talking, is the crossover event I was talking about.
That Wonder Woman movie is pretty good. I like the Wonder Woman movie.
The first one. The first Wonder Woman. The first Wonder Woman was great. And then the 1984, which I remember I was doing a show called Trinity Gauntlet at the time. And I had watched Wonder Woman 1984 right before the show started. First minute the song hit, first minute the song ended, I went into an expletive rant of just destroying that movie. From the minute I watched it, the minute it ended, I went, no, we're doing this. Went right into it, and look, 1984 was, but the reason why 1984 didn't work is because you literally have Wonder Woman saying, I gave up. You have her in Batman versus Superman. Her character's line is, I gave up on humanity for 100 years. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you have 1984. She's in the middle of a mall fighting criminals. You can't have the same. You can't say, I gave up on humanity, yet I'm fighting criminals in 1984. It doesn't work. You have people who are writing these things need to watch. They need to know their character. All right. We wrote this movie. All right. If you're going to write movie 1980, if you're going to write Wonder Woman 1984, you can't base it in 1984. It has to be after Wonder Woman comes back. It has to take place after Batman versus Superman because it has to stay in continuity with what we know already. You cannot change what we already know. That's the problem with all of these, with all these entities right now. DC has tried to retcon its process a million times, and stop retconning and just go with it. Pick a line and go with it. That's what I would tell DC is James Gunn, you're going to reboot this franchise. Say, this is where we are. This is where we stand. That this is what stands in our universe. This is what doesn't. And we're going to roll from here on out. Everything is going to come back to us. And the first minute somebody walks in, hey, I got a script for you. They haven't done Green Lantern in this version. And we know why, because Ryan Reynolds' movie was awful. And
he just didn't fit that episode. Green Lantern was so serious.
It's not that bad. It's not as bad as people proclaimed it to be. It's just really bad. The writing was terrible, but you could salvage it. It's salvageable if you wanted to. But when I'm using Green Lantern because he hasn't been in this. If if James Gunn, if somebody comes to you and says, I have a Green Lantern script, the very first question of, all right, you want to write for us? What from us have you seen? And if their answer is, oh, I haven't seen anything that you guys have put out, then you kick that person out of the building right away and say, come back to us when you've seen it. And does your screenplay, does your script match what we have written already? Because that's what draws people in, the continuity. Continuity is what gets people going. You have Marvel writers from She-Hulk that say, we don't care about the MCU. We never watched it. Well, it came through in your production. Your production came through, and at the end of it, everybody like people like myself go, why the hell did I just watch that? It has nothing to do with anything, and it has no connection to anything that's gone on. Because you hired people who literally told you, I don't care. I don't care about this process. I don't care about this. I don't care about that. Like, that's what it's about. That's what these cinematic universes is about. Now, you asked me about DC. If I'm going to make my pitch to James Gunn right now, if you just get on the path to death metal, if you just get on the path to Dark Knight's metal, you will win. You will win the superhero wars. It'll be over. Marvel can't compete with Dark Knight's metal and death metal. They tried to compete. The comic books were over. It was over. DC sold more comic books in the death metal run than any of Marvel's run. If you just do that storyline, you win it. You win. You win. It would be cinematic. You would get everybody. You get Barbados as a villain. You get Lex Luthor as a villain. You get the Batman who laughs. You get the Joker. You get every single thing that you could imagine. You get that put into your universe. You get Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. You can run the Flash. You get Green Lantern. You get the Lantern Corps. How awesome would it be to see a DC universe that is basically Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. And then you get a Lantern Corps movie where they all fit in together. And at the end of the day, they're getting towards Dark Knight's metal where they all have moments. They all have moments of defeat. They all have moments of triumph. They all have those moments. It's right there. It's right there in the canon for you. Just take the comic, put it to a script, and boom. DC, you would be back. You'd be back in action. Everyone would love you. It's not about fatigue. There's no such thing as superhero fatigue. Everyone wants a good story. Everyone out there they're begging you for a good story. But when you continue to peddle crap like Quantum Mania, crap like, oh, instead of Ant-Man, it's going to be Ant-Man and the Wasp, but we're going to follow the Janet Van Dyne story. Well, no one cares. No one cares about that stuff. No one cares about, oh, Cassie is going to be, she's the big hero of the day because she goes to protests and she does it. Nobody cares about that crap. Nobody cares about that crap. They care about the story. They care about, how does Ant-Man defeat Kang? How does Ant-Man and Kang's fight look? Is it believable? Is Kang somebody I should fear or somebody I should laugh at? That's what it's about. That's what this is all about. And that leads me into my final topic, which is Star Wars Celebration, or as I call it, Star Wars Cringe Fest. And for that, I am going to do this for 1 second because I have to do something real quick. So what I'm going to do is leave you guys, before I get into Star Wars Celebration, I'm going to leave you guys with this, with my favorite college football play of all time, while I run and get something real quick.
But D, somebody get out of here, man. I gotta go to work. So
all right. All right. Yep, go ahead. I am I'm up, and hopefully that stopped playing and it doesn't play again. But no, Rod, thank you for jumping on, and thank you for giving your thoughts, and thank you for the opportunity. When I get everything settled and we get going here, setting the scene will appear. It'll be a Tuesday and Wednesday adventure. So you're gonna get me on the lunch crew on Monday. You're gonna get me doing setting the scene Tuesday and Wednesday. Of course, Thursdays will be fifth down day. Will be fifth down day, and then we'll be rolling right into the weekend. And the more things we can do, the better. And like I said, it'll be a fun time. Hopefully it'll be an adventure for everybody, and hopefully we get payoffs at the end.
All right,
the payoff is we get our voices out there, and then the payoff is, as always with any program I do, I could care less about my point of view, and we're going to tell you the times that you could be here. If the 9 p.m. doesn't work for you on Thursdays, come join us at 7:30 a.m. on Tuesday and Wednesday. Come join us on any program I'm on, 11 o'clock with the lunch crew. Come join us. Come join us, because we want your opinion. Your opinions are what matters. The comments are what matters. The people watching this, that's what matters. That's what matters. It's not about my opinion. It's not about Rod's opinion. It's about your opinion. These are opportunities for you, the fans, to voice your opinions, whether it's positive, negative, whatever it is. We just want to know what you're thinking. And that's why we do these shows.
Exactly. And I'm going to hit you off the line and ask you a couple other details. But good night, man. I'll get out with you later.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So thanks to Rod for jumping on. Thanks to Snowman for jumping on. We've gone 2 hours. We've gone 2 hours with this. We've gone 2 hours with this program. 2 hours. We didn't even dive into the NFL draft. We didn't even dive into the NFL draft yet. But we're gonna keep going here. We're gonna keep going. But I'm gonna end this show with talking about Star Wars Cringe Fest, as I call it, Cringe Fest. You can't make this stuff up. You cannot make up. I just talked about hiring writers who care about their program. That's why Star Wars is dead. Star Wars died because people took over that didn't care about what was already down the line. You have an actor come on and say, my character is great because she is challenging the Star Wars patriarchy. What? What patriarchy? Queen Amidala? Last time I checked, Queen Amidala is a woman. She was the queen of the prequel trilogy. Princess Leia, last time I checked, was a woman. She's the driving force and the leader of the rebels in the original trilogy. Then you get you get the sequel trilogy where Rey is a woman, Leia is a woman, and she leads the resistance. What patriarchy are you talking about? Are you even watching your own show? Are you even watching your own IP? Are you even paying attention to it? What patriarchal culture are you toppling? Because it makes no sense. It makes no sense. You can't topple a patriarchy that doesn't exist. And to have people saying this on screen, on live interviews, is absolutely absurd. It just shows that they know nothing. But then you get, oh, here we go. Let's add to the fun.
Keith, can you hear me?
Drew, what's happening?
What's up, man? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Nice. Turn this unit sideways. Just got home from work, man. Saw you had a show. Figured I'd jump on for a few. Didn't know if you had talked about big news today.
I've talked about big news, but probably not the big news that you're talking about. What are we talking about?
The commies selling to Josh Harris and Magic Johnson Group. It is not 100% final yet, but it is bound to happen.
Oh wow, that
Yep.
that is big news, and with you as a I'm never going to say that. I'm not going to say that name until their mascot is Cobra Commander. Until Cobra Commander is their mascot, I will not call them by that name. So I will continue to call them the Washington Redskins until they fully embrace the Commander name and get Cobra Commander out there. But so the Commanders are going to be sold. They're going to be sold.
They're working out some contingencies, but for $6 billion, Dan Snyder will be selling this team to the Josh Harris, who is the owner. He's the co-owner of the Philadelphia 76ers, as well as the co-owner of the New Jersey Devils for NHL.
Oh my God.
Now he'll be the majority owner of the Washington Commanders to add to that awesome portfolio that the man has.
To add to his most hated person on fifth down. You can't get any more hated than a Celtics fan. I hate the 76ers. A Rangers fan. I hate the Devils. A Cowboys fan. I hate the Redskins. This guy is going to be the most hated guy in this corner. But you know what? It's better. It's you know what? I say this all in jest because life is better when you have people always talk about rivalries. It's not a rivalry if one side can't compete. And under the previous regime, they made the Redskins unable to compete. Just unable to even when they made the playoffs, they still had no quarterback. They made the playoffs without a quarterback.
Absolutely.
Had to sign a guy off the street just to play a playoff game.
I've got so much Redskins paraphernalia in this house. It is unreal. But, it's sad the way we've seen things unfold, but I understand it. I'm not going to hold any grudges, but I think the best thing for the franchise, it's been mismanaged for quite some time, for nearly 25 years. The man bought it in 99. So for almost a quarter century, we've had to deal with Dan Snyder. The team has been to the playoffs, like a handful of times throughout that tenure, and hasn't gotten past the first round. Has made it out of the wild card round, but hasn't gotten past the divisional round, in the entire time that he's been there. And it's time for a change. It's time that this team gets restored back to its old glory. Hopefully, gets a new name. Like I'm one of the ones who should say, if you're going to change it from the Redskins, at least give it a respectable name. And the Commanders isn't quite a respectable name, in my opinion, because you got people like myself out here calling them the commies, Deets. We're calling them the commies. We don't appreciate the name, whether you're a fan of the team or not. I'm just tired of it. So, just I figured with the big news today, could sprinkle that charm onto the Fifth Down Sports Show for a few minutes and give Deese a little bit of a take of that one.
Like I said, you can make. I mean, Commanders is not a great name by any stretches. When they announced it, it was everybody just it was clickbait. It was laughable. Everybody was laughing at it.
Yep.
But you can salvage it if you embrace it and you take it to heart. They don't care. The previous regime did not care. All they cared about was let's get rid of the Redskin name. And if you're going to get rid of the Redskin name, at least get something that you're proud of that you can be behind. Because for all the fodder that was out there, Redskins fans were diehard for the Redskins. And people were coming at them from all angles. And I know a bunch of Redskins fans. I'm friends with a bunch of Redskins fans.
I got the half sleeve right here with them on them right there. You can even
and
see
at
a little
the
bit
time,
of it right there.
at the time, they didn't care. People were saying, "You need to change your name. It's racist." And they were like, "No, we don't need to change our name because we don't care. Because we don't care. Because it doesn't. Because we're not doing. You may think it's hateful, but for us, it's a sign of pride. We take
Even
pride in that. We take pride
too. Yeah.
And so and when they decided to change the name, the worst thing they did was ever go by the football team. That was the worst thing that they ever did. If you were going to change the name, just change the name.
Team of football.
I mean,
WTF, Washington Team of Football.
Yeah. I mean, it was just laughable every time I heard somebody. Every time you heard, well, the Cowboys are playing the football team this week. I was like, no, this just hurts everyone. But if you want to be the Commanders, like I said, be full Commander, go all in, find something that you can do, like find a mascot or a symbol that says that makes the Commander cool. Like that's why I don't say Cobra Commander. When I say go full Cobra Commander, like have that as your idea for this is what a commander looks like. What the hell is a commander? I have no ideas. If you're gonna have a team name, at least give me something that I know what it is.
Supposedly it's a military rank from what they
and something we can get behind.
Yeah, but it's not like you said. It's nothing we can really get behind. Like I get it. Honoring the military, but in especially being a DC, but you can do a little bit better than that. So that's just my take on that. But we'll see
if you're going to honor this team. If you're going to honor the military, have I know the Cowboys star. You can't really put a star on there, but you could put probably military stars on there. Something that makes me go, oh, military. Okay, I can get behind that. I mean, I've heard everything. Oh, it's DC. They're the Commanders because of government, and I'm like that doesn't mean it. Like, and then I've heard people say exactly what you just said, where it's a military. We're talking about the military form of commander, and I'm like, okay, but yet you don't show me any of that, so I don't care. I mean, I know what a giant is. I know what an eagle looks like. I know what a cowboy is. I know what a Texan is. I have no idea what a commander is. I have no visual reference of what I'm looking at.
Your guess is as good as mine.
And
brother.
I think the guys that are in charge, the guys that if this is true and these are the people that are involved, I think those those types of people and Magic Johnson. Yeah, he is a great. If he's great at one thing, might not have been good as a head coach with the Lakers. Might not have been good as a general manager with the Lakers. But there is one thing he is really good at, and that is marketing. He is a great marketer of marketer of Magic Johnson, but he is also a great marketer in his professional life. You look at the businesses that he's behind, each and every one of them has been a success. So
Yeah, absolutely.
with him involved, he needs the advice I would give to that group is listen to Magic Johnson. If Magic Johnson says it's a good idea, go with it. If he says it's a crappy idea, scrap it, go back to the drawing board, and go again. Listen to Magic. Magic, for all lack of a better word, he has the magic touch. Everything he touches gets better.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see how this ownership group takes this team throughout the rest of this decade, because there's already been talks about teams, ownership that were bidding for it, wanting to potentially change the name. And that's why Dan Snyder was balking on this for a little bit. There's been some things in the news about that too. And potentially Josh Harris's group was looking to buy the team and change the name as well. But there was more hype on Jeff Bezos doing that. And even though he accepted Jeff Bezos being a part of the bidding group recently, we already knew, based on the bad blood that was coming out in the news over the past couple of years, there's no way Jeff Bezos is going to be allowed to buy this team from Dan Snyder. The only way he's going to be able to do it is if he buys it from the ownership group that buys it from Dan Snyder. But I don't see.
You dodged a huge bullet by not having Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, everything at Amazon is crumbling. And Amazon is going to keep going forever because it's entrenched in our society. That side of it is fine. Everything else Amazon touches, Amazon Studios is crumbling. Amazon Television is crumbling. Everything Amazon. Go watch the Rings of Power and tell me again. Tell me Amazon knows what they're doing after watching Rings of Power and watching them destroy the Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, one of the greatest IPs of all time, one of the greatest novels of all time, one of the greatest movies of all time. And in 6 episodes, they managed to destroy all of it. And you know, and you want to know why? Because not only did they destroy it, but they blamed the fans for destroying. They destroyed it. The fans didn't like it, voiced their opinion, and what they do, they attack the fans. Do not attack the fans. You attack your fans. That's how you die.
Between,
he would have gone in there and changed things and made things absolutely insane. And I think this group will change things for the better.
Yeah, and I mean, and you could be onto something with that, but as someone who has pre-pandemic ink, a half sleeve on my arm of this team as a retro fan, when you have someone like Magic Johnson, who's won a ring in just about every sport now except for the NFL. He got one with the Dodgers. He got one in Major League Soccer. He's gotten several. He's gotten 5 as a player in the NBA, with the Lakers. He's got several championships. If there's anybody within the bidding war that was going to get this ownership, I want Magic Johnson to be a part of it, because it's going to change a lot within the spectrum of team management, because we could see the Washington Commanders' first full-time, or whatever their name is, we could see this team's first full-time African-American coach and change things for minorities out there. It's already been changed throughout several teams, but we haven't had a full-time coach of the minority stature in Washington yet. So it's coming, because as we've discussed on the NRL Sports Debate, that you could have this in place with Eric Bieniemy in there now as the offensive coordinator and assistant head coach. He could be the one.
What did I tell you the day he was hired? He's the next. He's the head coach. He's the head coach. He's going to be the head coach 6 months from now.
Absolutely.
I can tell you that right now. Ron Rivera, your days are numbered. Win the Super Bowl, or you're not. Or even if he wins the Super Bowl, they may just say, Ron Rivera, we have it. I guarantee you there was a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Hey, join this. But hey, all of that could be out the window, because when this new ownership group comes in, you sign on with Daniel Snyder. Well, if Daniel Snyder's no longer the owner, well, you're not making those decisions anymore.
Facts.
But I still firmly believe Eric Bieniemy is the next head coach of the the Commanders.
Whatever. Commies.
I'm calling them the Redskins.
Commies.
But Drew, I have a comment. I have a comment, and I'm glad you're here for this because I have a comment on the show from a very good friend of mine, Marshall. Okay. The comment is directed at me, but I'm glad you're here for this. The comment says, "Cut your hair, hippie." Oh, it's a running joke between me and my best friend Marshall. He's always telling me to get my hair cut. Yeah, not happening, bro.
I'm doing it this year. My main profile pictures have my short hair. I miss it. There's too much maintenance involved, bro. There's more respect for women out there, or just anybody who has long hair and maintains it, because the brushing, the washing, it's more involved. I miss just being able to put like a small amount of stuff in my hair, washing it, been done in a minute. Now you got to put it in there, let that stuff simmer in there for a little bit, get it all nice. It's too much work, bro. But I'm going to donate to Locks for Love this year, and somebody out there is going to get a nice head of hair donated by yours truly.
That's awesome. I'm going to cut my hair as well, because as I said, I talked to brother Tom over the weekend, and we'll be doing Comic-Con again. So nice. I have some plans for what I'm going to do for Comic-Con, and unfortunately they don't involve long hair. So it may be that plus I have a wedding to go to, and like you said, the maintenance when you have long hair, it's just it's out of this world. But I just found it funny. I was like, the minute Marshall sends this to me, you come on, and I'm like, Drew's got the hair, I've got the hair, and Marshall's telling us to cut our hair. It's all.
I can tell you this
works. I don't know how the world works this way.
I can tell you, as far as the wedding goes, if you want to, it doesn't involve an investment of some pretty decent gel, because I was a best man in a wedding last October. And, of course, I've had the hair for like 2.5 years. So I had to put a ton of gel in this thing and have it like, all tied back and stuff. You couldn't even tell, looking at the front, that I had long hair. It just looks like I had a little bit of hair but slicked back or whatnot, put it back in the bun or whatever. And unless you looked at the back of the head, you couldn't tell. And I hate doing the whole man bun thing, but for my boy that day to look, proper in a suit, 3-piece suit, and I had to, so I did it. But
yeah,
you can still if you want to. There's a lot of work though. I tell you, man, I'm the
same way. I'm the same way. I've had this going since the only reason I grew out my hair was so that I could play the Joker at Comic-Con 2 years ago, and that was actually the running joke of the wedding that I was in. Because at the time, my hair was green. My hair was dyed green for the Joker. And he was like, "You're going to be in my wedding, but you can't have green hair." And I was like, "Fine, I'll make it orange. What then?" And so I've been telling Billy every time he asks me, he's like, "Did you get your hair cut yet?" I'm like, "Nope, I got it dyed blue. Just for your wedding." I was like, "You're a Jets fan. What? You're a Jets fan. You don't like the green? Come on."
Yeah, it's. I feel you on that, man. It's just I wanted to do this one good time. So I've always teased it out a little bit, just never really got past the neck or whatever before. But for real, this time I let it go for 2.5 years, and it is time to cut ties and get back to looking like a civilized adult again. But at the same time, it's for a good cause, and it's just hair, man. So at least while I'm still got it and still able to rock it like I'm in my 20s or whatever, even though I'm clearly not anymore. I don't feel like I'm in my 20s anymore, but it's definitely good. I'm glad I got the genes to still pull it off. And there's still no, at 36, still no grace. I'm still happy with that, brother.
Drew, what number are you at for in or out sports debate? And I did say it right. I did say it right this time. In or out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If you want the in and out, you gotta hit up the burger spot. So that's what in and out's about. You gotta hit up that burger spot, get some burger, fries, and shake. Just gave him a free plug right there for in and out. But no, in or out sports debate. We're at 91 this Sunday with holy crap, Joe Diller Jr. this Sunday, and then the following week we got Joey, and it looks like a guy from the 3-point conversion, Raphael Haynes, will be joining us more than likely. So that's what's in the card for right now for a trios edition for that one. But definitely want to get you back on there at some point in the near future before I hit 100, so that we can at least have 2 appearances on there before I hit 100, because 100 is just around the corner. I was at 6 episodes last April. Look at where the hell I'm at now. So it's been a wild ride. I just actually right before I got on here, just put a post about it because, a year ago, I was just starting that show up at 6 episodes and was just revamping it. Had nothing else going on. Had just done media experience in the past, like photography and stuff for Legacy Maker, but hadn't had a weekly running podcast. And now that I got a weekly running, a year later, I got that plus Sports Sensations is now at 17 episodes. It's now on WQEE 99.1 in Atlanta, Georgia. And then we got the wrestling podcast, Kayfabe Express, along with the new comedy show in development for D. Willie in the evening. So, dude, I'm telling you, it's been a hell of a ride. Been talking to some representatives lately, like Wise is got me stuck with this one guy that I've been talking to on Facebook or whatnot. Has been offering me a deal. There's another guy that's been trying to, because they're seeing the stuff that I'm putting out. And what you do here is great, where we can, kind of get up and chill and just talk and just kind of just flow, out the top of our tongues. But what I have is a little bit more structured, kind of like, not like Cole. Like Cole's on a different level. I'm nowhere. In my opinion, I'm nowhere close to Cole. But I have people telling me that I am. So I've got people out there seeing the stuff and wanting to offer me stuff, and it's like, you got to be careful with it, man, because you got to do what's best for yourself at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, I just want to have fun with like yourself who comes on there as a guest, or whoever comes on there as a guest. If it gets to a point where it's not fun, I'm gonna back out of it, because
and that's the key to business. That's the key to success in this business. Is it's always important to try. It's why I'm glad, and I was just on with Rod, and Rod is going to give me an opportunity to do something different other than this show, or going on a show and just talking. I'm going to use that opportunity to expand my horizons, to try different things. And like you just said, I've got my flow here. I can't try those things here, because if I try it here and it blows up, well, everybody's gonna remember that blow up as, oh, well, I saw this and it was absolute garbage. Well, if I'm able to start my own, I'm starting the show, as we said, we'll say, setting the scene. It's gonna be, voiceovers. It's gonna be my opportunity to try those things and try to figure out this thing, because that's the next level of this stuff. Yeah, I could sit here and talk all day, but I want to try voiceovers. I want to try, hey, let's play a clip and let's go with it. That's one of those things that I've always wanted to do, but I can't do it with my flagship program. I have to do it with something that I can just try, because I'm not one of those people who can just, somebody can be like, oh yeah, go to this site and learn this. Now I have to do it. If I don't do it, it's not going to work. But if people don't, and if people don't look at it and they're not like, oh, that's not authentic, it has to be authentic. Yeah. It has to be me. It has to be me. I can't do what Cole does. You can't do what Cole does. I can't do what you do. Cole can't do what you do. We all do it authentically to our own. I know we always say Cole Johnson sets the standard, but I don't want to be Cole. I don't want to be Cole. Do I want to be talked about as being as good as Cole? Absolutely. But there are things that Cole does that only Cole can do. Absolutely. I don't need to try to be Cole. I need to be me and do things that way. But I love what you're doing with the in or out, with the sports senseis. Kayfabe Express. I love your wrestling interviews and all of that. How are you doing? How are you finding? I do want to ask you though. How are you finding the wrestling community right now?
Oh, as far as the guests that I have on there, like when I brought
As far as
there,
guests,
like,
as far as what are you hearing from the wrestling from your wrestling fan base? Are they excited about where wrestling's going, or are they defeated after WrestleMania? Because I got to tell you, I'm in the boat of I just don't care anymore, and
since WrestleMania,
not a good. It's not a good feeling.
Since WrestleMania, I haven't done K-Wave Express, and I also haven't had any questions or statements on the show of in or out to really discuss it. So I can't really honestly say it. Based on what I've seen on the internet, though, people are upset because a lot of people wanted to see Cody win it and feel like WWE botched it with having Roman retain, because now you got this feud with Brock Lesnar for Cody. And, it's going to help build him up, I feel like, over time, but I feel like he could have done that with title defenses against like Brock Lesnar and stuff like that, and kind of written Roman off TV and been brought him back at another date. They're going to probably try to go for him holding the belt now for over 1,000 and some days and try to be potentially one of the, the longest, if not the longest reigning champion. If this does go into next WrestleMania and he goes against like someone like Seth Rollins or The Rock or somebody else other than Cody. But I feel like, that was Cody's real moment to shine. Will he get another one? More than likely. It depends on how things react from this decision and how things go. He might win it at SummerSlam or a different pay-per-view, but I feel like he was cheated a little bit. But I kind of see why, because some people do feel like, well, in Roman's promo where he went and jumped ship and started his own company and couldn't really get over in that company, but comes back to WWE and all of a sudden gets over with the younger crowd. Some people are jealous about that backstage. I mean, Seth Rollins gave an interview about how he was, had a little bit of a beef with Cody over stuff like that since he came back. So parts of that feud leading it into his torn pec and that match as well were actual real, because even though they're acting out there, there's certain elements to it that are real because they do somewhat feel some type of way, because you got someone like Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns who have carried the flagship of this company since Cody left, and even somewhat before when they were in the Shield, and they feel some type of way about it. So that's my own perspective of what I've seen from comments on the internet. But as far as, the show or anything, I haven't had an episode since I was given the previews and the night one review of WrestleMania. So I'm going to try to get that show geared up soon, but just got so much going on between work, the sports coverage, and with Snowman as well. And I'm also a player coach for a baseball team. We just started up the past 2 weeks as well, and have practices every week, and also have games on Saturdays and Sundays. I'm burnt out, man. Like I ain't only got so much time out here to do so much.
I'm so glad you just mentioned that, because that was going to be my next question: is how's the baseball team going? And so
good.
are you guys just practicing, or when do you guys play your first games?
We're practicing now. We're about 2 weeks away from the start of the season. The season's about 3 months, and then we have playoffs after that. Last year, we were in a 7-game series in the semifinals, and we're 1 game away from getting to the actual finals. Or no, we were 1 win away from getting to the finals. So yeah, we had done really well. And when I first started with this team 5 years ago, we couldn't even get a win. Like we win the first 2 seasons. We had 1 victory. And I think that 1 victory was a forfeit. So that was our victory. So that's how we started. Me being at 36 now, I don't play much anymore. I'll get 5 to 6 at bats during the season, maybe play 2 or 3 innings, just because I want the younger kids to play. They've got the mobility. They're just out of high school or just out of college, or some in college, and it can move in their early 20s and late teens. Like I'm 36. My best days are behind me. But I can still put the ball on the bat and take it over the fence, though. Don't get me wrong, once the right pitch comes in. But you asked me to steal a base. No, I'm going to sit that one out or get a base runner in there. So, but the biggest joy is just being able to coach first base while they're playing. Just kind of be a shoulder to lean on, just kind of be like an older brother in a way, and just kind of just be a part of something that's special, along with all the other things that I'm a part of. I don't like the term blessed, because I feel like so many people out there are fake as hell who say I'm blessed. I will say I'm honored to be a part of all the stuff that I'm a part of in and out of sports. I can say in and out at that point. But yeah, in and out of sports, I am happy to be where I'm at today, man. There's a lot more growth that needs to happen. But take it one day at a time, man. That's all you can do.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've been a part of those teams. I mean, obviously not in my baseball career, but in my softball career, we started a team. We won one game, and we celebrated like we won the championship because we finally won a game. And 2 years later, we were one game. We were one game away from playing in the Nationals tournament. In Nationals, we were one game away, and it was funny because like it was a team that we just put together, and then we kept getting more people, and then all of a sudden we got good. And it was funny when we got there because everybody was like, "Oh, if we win this game, we go to regionals," and I was like, "Where's that?" And they're like, "Virginia," and I was like, "I'm not paying to go to Virginia, dude." I was like, I could really care less. I was like, I just want to win because I want to win. I was like, I want to win if I win. Even if we make regionals, I'm not going to that. What are you, nuts?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these people who play softball work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday and, got some money or whatnot. But when it comes to backwoods baseball, which I'm part of, which goes all the way from like Petersburg, Virginia, all the way on down to Suffolk, it's a travel baseball league. And it's an adult baseball league, which is pretty rare. There's not many, like you have more softball around the U.S. than you do adult baseball that actually is somewhat semi-pro. You got to pay $5 to get in. They have concessions. They sell alcohol, all sorts of stuff. I mean, it's not just we show up and play softball. It's hardball. We have that here. We have that here with West Haven Twilight League. Okay. They have a men's league. I don't know what they do. I don't know if they send their people around the country, or I don't know if they send their winners around the country or whatever. I haven't been a part of it, but I know they post in the paper all the time. Oh, this team won the West Haven Twilight League, and I'm like, all right, cool. Nice. Yeah, I don't know how far they travel. Ours is probably like a 75 to 100 mile radius of travel, within there, depending on where it is. But it's still something you could travel to in your car within a day and get there, play the game, and go home. Like it's not terrible, but just to be able to still hit an 85, 86 mile an hour fastball left-handed at 36, which I just did last week, to be at a radar gun out there, and like they're not fully warmed up yet. We got one guy that can throw 90, and I was just kind of messing around with him. I was like, I bet you I can still hit off you, because we had already taken BP and stuff. Went up there and hit a shot into right center field, and the radar gun says 86. So I was like, I'm still happy with that, man. Like I still do that, but I played in college. I played my entire college. I played 2 years in college, and look, hitting the 85, 86, 87 mile an hour fastball, I could probably hit the 86 mile an hour fastball right now. The problem is that 65 mile an hour slider would make me throw the bat. Probably, yeah.
that would be the problem. Look, fastball. I could get on a cage. I could get in a cage. Get on a machine and get the timing up. The minute, and I could be like, all right, I'm ready for the fastball. The minute that slider comes in, I'd be like, oh, nope, totally different ball game.
Yeah, I can hit some of it. It doesn't look pretty at all when it comes to some of the junk, but I can still manage to get on base. But if you ask me to steal, I mean, I don't eat too much hamburger helper or anything these days, but I can at least tell you that, I got a few extra pounds on me, but at least I'm still doing more at 36 than what a lot of people our age in the mid to late 30s are doing when it comes to being active.
Yeah, that's what I say to you. I marvel that you're able to get out there. I would love to get out there and play again. And I was just telling people at the bar, I was like, if you guys have a team, like I was like, I'll play. I've been working so many jobs recently that was the reason why I stopped playing. I didn't stop playing because I don't love the game anymore. I would love to play, my weekend, spend my weekend, but I had a job where I worked weekends. So I couldn't I couldn't be like, oh, I'm not going to come in today. But now that I have a job where I have weekends off, I'm like, oh my God, I'm itching for that Sunday morning. There's nothing better than Sunday morning softball. Not gonna lie.
That's the thing with us. We play Saturday and Sunday, and I got to miss Saturday games. I'm gonna try to take off for the first one and maybe a couple other ones once we get to playoffs. But Sunday is gonna be where I primarily work because I work Wednesday through Saturday. Well, right now it's Monday through Thursday because I'm in training because I just started a new job. But once I go into my shift, it'll be Wednesday through Saturday, 2 to midnight, and I'll still be able to go out there for Sundays, but my Saturdays will be at work. So I mean, I know the feeling on that, but. We've already worked that out. I've already discussed that with them, and we've already got stuff in place for that. But, still to be able to be a part of it at this age, I look like if I didn't have my baseball pants on, I look like freaking Stone Cold Steve Austin because I got 2 knee braces on. But, hey, I just want to make sure nothing falls out of place.
That's all. That's all that. That's the one thing. That's the one thing that playing for. Like I said, I've played on teams that have almost gone to championships. I have played on teams that we were lucky to win a game. And, what that taught me is as long as I walk away from the field at this stage, as long as I walk off the field, it's a win.
Yep.
I don't care. We could lose 36. We could lose 36-0. As long as I walk off the field and I don't have to be carted off. I don't have to I don't have to do anything after the game. It's a win in my book. I don't care I don't care what the score was. I got to play, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, the reason why I can't steal bases anymore is 4 years ago I was on third base, and I was told to steal home, and this was before the whole coaching aspect when I was just a player, and I was 32. Stealing home, my knee went out, and accidentally tackled the catcher. When my knee went out, didn't mean to, but when I did, it separated his shoulder, his non-throwing shoulder. So then he tries to come and swing at me and stuff. Bench is clear. We had a big old fight. After that, I'm not allowed to steal bases anymore. It starts fights.
Yeah. Don't send Drew unless you want a war.
Yeah. So that's the whole point of that. But it's definitely been cool getting up with you here for the past half hour, my man. Definitely keep on rocking what you're doing out here in the free world with the show. Look forward to seeing what you got, cooking up with what you're talking about with those things on the side. So definitely keep me informed with that. But this is my part of the night where I actually go and do a little bit of training because I got a little thing set up behind the garage where I do my baseball training and stuff and a little bit of push-up action and stuff like that. Because I told Snowman that I might not be getting that many at-bats this year, but for him beating his cancer, I'm going to send one over the fence for him. So I got to get back to training for that.
There you go. Well, don't let us stop you, and keep on keeping on. And as Drew said, Sports Senseis with Snowman and the in or out emphasis on in or out sports debate. It was a lot of fun being on. I look forward to being on again. And as I told Drew off the air, I will say this on the air. Just wait for 92.
Yeah, I look forward to what you guys say in the comments. I already told Joey that we're going to get you back on with him because the flow of that episode was awesome. So then we have to do a trio. I
will tell you right now, Drew, 92. When you do as I'll promo this for you. Drew always does best to wear that number. When that topic comes up on number 92, show number 92, Drew will do one of two things, and it won't be in the middle. It'll be one of two things. Drew will either cry or his entire set will be destroyed. I will make that prediction right. I will make that prediction right now. He will either cry on the air or he will scream, yell, and it may cause chaos. So be prepared for that.
Do episode 92 out here in the garage just to be safe. Well, I look forward to seeing how that goes, man. We look
forward to everything that you're doing, Drew. And as always, anytime you want to come on, any show I'm on, always welcome. And yeah, just anytime you need me, like I told Snowman before, anytime you need me for a show, anytime you need me for something, just let me know and I'll figure out how to work it out.
Sounds good, brother. Keep on doing what you're doing. And the last thing I'll say, as I say at the end of my shows, everybody stay safe out there in these streets.
Absolutely. So that is Drew Willingham from the In or Out Sports Debate. Of course, we were on with Drew on Saturday. We did number 90. And I do. I'm not kidding about this. I have big plans for that number 92 show, and I'll be in the chat for that, and I will light up the chat for that day. And anybody who questions that, go watch. I believe it wasn't 89. I think it was 88 when I was in the chat, ripping on Joey in the chat. So I will be there in the chat to make sure things go well, and of course I just teased it. I have a huge bomb to drop in that. It'll be fun. It'll be fun as we go. But anyway, we've been talking, and before Drew came on, I was talking about Star Wars. And I was talking about ruining IPs, and it was good that Drew came on, because the Washington Redskins are a prime example of, they changed the name Commies. Why? They changed to the Commanders. Why? Because they didn't respect they didn't even respect their own fan base. They didn't respect the lore of their fan base. They didn't even listen to their fans. They just did it. They just did it to do it. And that's what's going on with you have to hire people who care. You have to hire people who care about what you're doing. And I talked about this with Star Wars, the girl talking about the matriarch, taking down the patriarchy of Star Wars. Get out of here. There's no patriarchy. Get out of here. But it was even worse when the guy came out. They brought the male actor for the Acolyte out, and he trots out on stage, and he starts talking, and he literally says this, and I quote, "Star Wars is not about good versus evil." What program? What have you been watching? Did you watch the prequel trilogies? Did you watch the OG? I was expecting the host to just run up and slap the guy and be like, "Are you serious right now? What program are you watching?" To seriously say that was the case. I think we have 4 minutes left. We have 4 minutes left. We're not on the air anymore, but we have 4 minutes left of our blog talk. So I'm gonna use this up for that. So, Star Wars is not about good versus evil. Let me quote the guy who knows more about Star Wars than anybody on the planet. That would be George Lucas, who said, and I quote, Star Wars is the story of good versus evil brought to space." That's how he described Star Wars at the beginning. He described it as a battle between good versus evil. And you have an actor actually come out, you have somebody representing Lucasfilm say, "Well, Star Wars isn't about good versus evil, it's about perspective." No, it's not. It's fundamentally good versus fundamentally evil. That's what it is. And we talked about this earlier with Rod. Why are superhero films dying? They're dying because we're losing the good versus evil. We want to root for good. We want to cheer against evil. And we want to be threatened by evil. We want to be threatened. I have said this on this program and on Trinity Gauntlet my entire run. It's not. Heroes make a story good. Villains make a story great. And that's what Marvel is losing. Marvel has lost the ability to make their villains evil. They have come out and they have tried to make, people need to sympathize with their villains. No, they don't. People need to fear the villain. They need to be afraid of that the villain is going to absolutely tumble the universe. That if they are not stopped, they will destroy the universe. That's what we need to be afraid of. If we're not afraid of that, all hell's. If we're not afraid of the villain, we don't care about the hero. That's how it works. That's how you make a good superhero. That's how you make a good hero story. The villain, we have to fear that if this villain's not stopped, all hell's going to break loose. And that's how it goes. With that, I've been on for 3 hours. I know we did not get to the draft. I know we didn't get to the draft. Look, we got plenty of time. Of course, we will be live during the draft. We'll be doing everything that we're going to focus towards the draft for a lot of these things, but we got a lot of things out there. Thanks to Snowman for jumping on. Thanks to Rod for jumping on. Thanks to Drew for jumping on. Thanks to everybody out there. Thanks to A Pizzle for getting in the chat. And if you see this, I will say this. Look, for everybody I mentioned before, look, any content creator, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Rumble, whether anywhere, go support your favorite, your favorite, support them. Send them chats, send them love, send them comments, like, share, subscribe, do all of those things. Look, if you like our presentation here, by all means, like, subscribe, comment. We will address comments. We don't care. But I'm sure your favorite YouTuber, your favorite commenter, I'm sure they love to hear that as well. And look, if you think I'm wrong, by all means, tell us. We will address things. But the thing is, we're usually not wrong. And proof of that is Zion Williamson can't get on the court because he feels he can't be Zion. Meanwhile, John Morant is leading his team to the playoffs. We said it January of 2019. We said John Morant is the guy. But no, the regular media, they wanted to tell you Zion. They were pushing was Zion at that time. We told you John Morant was going to succeed him, was going to blow past him. Everybody called us crazy. Nobody wanted to believe us. This is true. This is what we do. But of course, as we go, anything we do here, you always have to remember everything we talked about here, everything we said, you can always say this. And our episode ended, so I can't play our outro. But that being said, everybody have a great time. Like I said, like, share, comment. Like the best thing you can do is comment on this video. If you liked it, if you liked it, awesome. If you didn't like it, please comment. Tell us what we can do better, what we can fix. If you're like Marshall, whether I should cut my hair or not, what I should put up in the background. I've heard that one. Oh, you have such a bland background. Okay, we got stuff to put up. I understand that, but we'll get there. We'll do it, and we'll do it all next time. And for everybody, we will be beginning. I will let you know on this program. I will let you know when we will begin setting the scene Tuesday and Wednesdays, setting the scene as we talk sports, media, entertainment, and we bring it all. We'll do it all again next week. And we can't wait for that. So to everybody that sees this, please like, share, subscribe, and we'll talk to you next time. Till then, and